Uh-oh. Mike's not yes, it is. Hello, one and all. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Another episode of CTO. Does that work? Oh, baby. Does it work? Does it work? It might work. Yes, I've got some sunglasses on today. You never see me in these sunglasses. They make everything bright and fabulous and wonderful to keep me positive for all the negativity I'm sure that will arise in tonight's show. Not negative, objectively negative. Yes. Well, welcome one and all to the second episode of CTO Live, Conveying the Obvious, made into a live Twitch podcast. See, this is why I didn't have the sounds on last time. Yes, we're testing. So most of the commands, these are the commands, Addy, for those that have never been in here. Normally here in the Gaming Dojo, we have a shit ton of commands and features and stuff. But for CTO, since this is more of a formal podcast, of which will be spliced into audio versions and posted on SoundCloud and stuff, I don't want a variety of visual bullshit because no one will be able to see it. And we want to kind of stay on topic because it's hard for me to stay on topic anyway. But yeah, those are the main commands you all can use tonight. So mostly you are my audience. You are the guests and you are the audience. We do not have a special guest tonight. Here we go with my hair. I will be lining up some actual guests. They're outside the dojo to come in. Like I have a paranormal investigator team that wanted to come into CTO Live last year, but we didn't start until literally last week. I want to bring in some big and small people in here, you all. Big and small alike. I think it'll be very interesting to get different perspectives from professionals and whatnot from all sides of the spectrum. But welcome Nessie, welcome Zen, welcome Addy. I think we're going to have a fabulous time tonight. We're going to be talking about religion. Ooh. See, I can't even do my own sound effects and stuff. It's supposed to be more low key. But yeah, religion, or dare I say, as I said earlier in chat, the origins of all religions on Earth. Anyway, look, I fixed my hat. It's not see-through tonight. Thank you, Nessie. Yeah, I think hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it sounds good. I was going to pick a playlist of music to listen to tonight while talking, but I talked to a few people, and they said they liked it, that we weren't really talking over music. So maybe we'll see down the line if we need that vibe. Maybe different songs for different vibes. But tonight, we'll be watching the very first part of a documentary that set me down this path of conspiracy and madness, a movie called Zeitgeist. There are several out there, but we'll be watching the original, not the originally unedited version, because it's hard to find that one. I would have to find my original DVD a hobo gave me. Yes, that happened. That's a story that I've told before. But yeah, the documentary Zeitgeist. We'll talk about something before we get into that. We're not going to jump right into it. We got some things to do, some things to say. But yeah, when I was younger, a hobo out of nowhere came and gave me a burned DVD with the word Zeitgeist written on it in marker. And ever since then, I've been questioning everything, even myself. You have to question yourself sometimes. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Come on. I know that's an old saying, but it ain't that old. My evening entertainment. I hopefully can be entertaining and educational and enlightening for you, Zen. That is the whole point of CTO. It's to listen to all sides, and mostly, and this is basically the tagline of this whole podcast, we want to not only seek answers to questions, we want to seek solutions to said answers, yes? Because not everything's a dichotomy, not everything's black and white, as you see with my screens, not everything is yes or no. Sometimes from the question to the answer, that ain't the end. You got to go from the answer to the solution, and then you got to go from solution to enacting the solution. Whatever. So, there's a few steps people are missing. Mercy check. Yo, what's up, Mercy? Mercy check. We still got it going on, but this is CTO Live. Not many channel points you can do, not many of the commands you can do. This is the podcast version of the Gaming Dojo where we vent out our frustrations, we vent out our curiosities, and we find solutions to said curiosities. But nice to see you, Mercy. I hope you've been doing very well. So this is a different show. We're streaming. Look, things have changed since you've been gone. We're streaming 3 days a week now. And so far, every Sunday is going to be a new CTO Live podcast. This is the episode 2. And today we're going to talk about religion, Mercy. And even if you all don't like religions out there, even the atheists out there, I think you're going to be very, very impressed with tonight's episode, tonight's dissertation about the origins of said religions. And I'm going to prove a few points that the documentary does not bring up, which, again, this the part we're going to watch, the documentary, it's not 100% true. Don't take everything it says 100% true. Don't take everything I say 100% true. Do your own research, as they say. But, yeah, we're going to point out some things. So, Mercy, CTO Live here. We try to do it within 2 or 3 hours compared to our 5+ hours of a regular stream. So sit down, enjoy, and maybe you'll learn something. Or maybe you'll get bored. But yeah, we still have the Mercy check, Mercy. We ain't forgot about you. You're still in the dojo. You're still here. You're just not in Discord. Yep, so for right now, we're trying to do Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So it's a lot of work. So I'm glad we could get the CTO stuff started. It's been in the making for months, at least the live version. Alcatraz was one of the Ronin that unlocked this specific show. When we used to have unlocking shows, I kind of got ahead of myself back then, but regardless of that. But yeah, Mercy, welcome. Thank you. Oh my God. Well, at least you came in and said hello. Can we give it a little clap for Mercy? Can we clap? Can we get a little Mercy clap? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Leaving us so soon. At least we know you're still alive. Hope you're doing well. Go to a cousin's birthday party with the fam. Fabulous. That sounds like a fun time. And the air is no longer dangerous. Good. That's good. You need air. It's a nice thing. Air. You too, Mercy. Take care. Have a wonderful night. Well, like I said, we'll be streaming for about 2 or 3 hours tonight and all. If for some reason you get bored and you want to look us up at the party, or if you come home early, come back in. We'll learn you something, all right. But okay, yes. Let's see what's going on with chat. I forgot I could do that. There we go. Oh, hold on. Come on, chat. There it is. Yeah, we got chat working. Got a few features here in the CTO. This whole set is still under construction. I'm going to be adding a few more things, certainly. Let's see if we can add the internet too. Or let's see if that works. It worked last time. Yes. Nice. Nice. But let's look at the internet. For those that don't know, and I can never spell this motherfucker's last name, Ted Kalinske? I already spelt it wrong. Teddy B. I call him Teddy. Look. Not fucking Iceman. Oh, The Unabomber Manifesto audiobook. Here we go. We'll just go straight to it. Why not? This has nothing to do with the topic tonight, but a sad state of affairs have occurred. I don't care if you're on the left, you're on the right, or whatever. If you don't know about Teddy B, also known as the Unabomber, also known as Ted Kaczynski, that's the name. He was an amazing, intelligent man. Not only did he have certain ideologies that most of us here in the dojo and just others that come in, we all tend to follow some of the same basic ideology. Well, this man enacted his ideology. Now, I'm not saying do what he did. It's totally illegal. Don't do anything Teddy B did. But Teddy B, for 20+ years, bombed CEOs of big corporate businesses, politicians, and assholes that needed it. Not every bombing was a death. He did maim a lot of people. He didn't kill a lot of people. His purpose was not to kill. His purpose was to maim and spread a message. And he lived out in the forest he lived off the land for 20+ years. The FBI could never fucking find this guy, and he would mail bombs to people. That's the thing. This guy's real. This guy's the real deal. And he died recently. Supposedly he killed himself. I'm gonna start the meme right now. Unabomber didn't kill himself. Unabomber didn't kill himself. Yeah, no, okay, whatever. I don't know if he did or not. Legend, thank you for coming back in. So nice to see you. Yes, we're doing episode 2 tonight of CTO. We're going to go over a little bit of old Teddy Bomber, as he's known in Cowboy Bebop. Yes, he was a character in the anime Cowboy Bebop. He was so well known. I'm not shitting you. And then we're going to go into tonight's topic of religion, or the origins thereof. So even if you are not a religious person, of which I'm not, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. I think honestly, those who are not spiritual or not religious will like this episode tonight more than those that are. I'm calling it right now. If you dislike religion, you're going to love tonight's religion episode. I fucking guarantee it. But yes, Addie was where's Addie? Hello, Addie. I'm doing your segment now. Addie was very adamant. Addie was adamant about going over a little bit the Unabomber. He had a manifesto, and Jesus Christ. So this guy was a mathematician. He was a smart motherfucker. He was a professor, and he figured out the plan of the game of life, and he was like, nah, fuck that. So he went on his own and started bombing people that, in my opinion, deserved it, and eventually got caught because of some fluke, actually. If it wasn't for that fluke, he'd probably still be out there bombing people. And then he went into jail for a long time, and now here just recently, he supposedly killed himself. Maybe he did. He was in jail a long time. Could you imagine hating the system so much you're going to bomb the system for 20 years, but then have to be imprisoned by the system? I'd fucking kill myself too. Just saying. But Legend Master, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us again. Right, 3 killed, 23 injured. See? And most of the killings were on accident. Either it was a spouse opening a box, I think, or a postman opening a box on accident. That was not his intention. And sometimes he'd put too much explosives into a bomb. His intention was not to kill. Just like in Cowboy Bebop in that episode about Teddy Bomber with Spike Spiegel's little fucking cowboy clone. I'm not making this up. He was about spreading the message that corporatism and anything to fuel civilization through the means of money was the death of the human race. And he wasn't fucking far off. Yeah, and we need a Trevor Moore warning. Yeah, no, every time? Okay, hold on. Let me put that on the list. I might add that. Because, like I said, we don't have too many things here in CTO just yet. Make a CTO disclaimer animation / command. Very nice. Good idea. His sister-in-law turned him in. Oh! I thought it was a neighbor. They said he would never have been found if she didn't put the pieces together. Well, she was probably slightly smart, too, like her brother. I'm drawing anime characters right now. Yeah, Zen, was that the what? Were you the one that sent that picture in the art hall? I saw your little sneaky peeky. Your little sneaky breaky peeky. It looks nice. I like your drawings. Can't wait to see the finished product or more of it. I'm a sucker for eyes. In real life anime, if you can draw eyes well, or if you got good eyes, I'm a sucker. You know what I mean? I suck. All right? Truly amazing, Ronin Sama. I'm getting cut off by an ad. Well, Addie, I know you got money, so why don't you do what needs to be done? You know what I mean? Do what needs to be done. You know what I mean? I look so weird. I look like a hipster in these glasses. You like it, Addie? Like my hipster look? See, I don't... I'm looking... But I don't know. Hold on. You said... Get the fuck out of the way. Yeah, there's so many windows. You said... He. Okay. See, I'm not caught up with newer animes, to be honest. And if I do watch a newer anime, it's few and far between. I was a big anime otaku. I wouldn't call me a otaku. I wasn't that bad, but I was pretty big in anime for a long time. And then I'm like, I can't handle all this moe anime that was going on there for a while, and I just can't keep up. There's just too much fucking anime. Here, turn this light off. Turn it off. There it is. Is that better? Is it okay? Camera looks a little laggy now. Okay, that's a little strange. Hold on. That's fine. I don't want to say something. I don't want to say the wrong things and sound stupid. All right. Well, that's fine, Addie. Well, Addie, if you send me $5 to the Gaming Dojo Guild Bank, I'll let Nessie sub for you. Now what's your excuse? Hey! Now what's your excuse? Hey! No, 2 years, I probably wouldn't know, to be quite honest with you. I'm not going to lie. All right. Time to go back to Teddy. Let's see, Teddy. The Unabomber Manifesto. Female voice reading. What? Nessie, you remember that guy I used to make merch for? And he wanted me to make Karl Marx merch. But he also wanted me to make Unabomber merch. And I was like, all right. I can get on board. I want to hear from a female voice. That's funny. Let's listen to what Teddy B was talking about. Teddy B, this is for you. I know it's weird for someone on Twitch to be, I mean, I'm not Hassan Piker. I guess Hassan Piker does this. But it might be weird for a person to be applauding the accolades of a known murderer on Twitch. But as the Jews believe, there's a difference between murder and killing. One is sinful, one is not. Just saying. Just fucking saying. I don't know. But I like the dynamic there of the different hair. And I like the eyes, of course. Oh my god. Thank you, Addie. My excuse, my goddamn money. Fuck you. You know how many hours, you know what's more precious than your fucking money, Addie? My time. You know how much time I put into you, boy? Give me some money. Give me the money. Okay, back to this. I used all my money. Bullshit. Nope. I call him bullshit on you. Where's the bullshit armory item? You know, you could probably use it, but it won't work. So don't even try. You killed 11 million people? You must get up very early in the morning. Exactly. Yeah. Now, the Unabomber, sadly, was not as busy as another person. But yeah, he did some damage, and he made a point, whether anyone remembers him or not. What is the lighting? I gotta fix this fucking lighting. Anyway, but let's listen to a little bit of Teddy's manifesto. We're not gonna listen too much, because this has nothing to do with tonight's episode's topic. But Addie wanted me to do this, and hell, I want to do it too. Give me that $5 bill, boy. That's all I need. Hey, that's all I need. Just give it. Give me. You don't need to eat. Give me. Gimme, 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 gimme. Gimme, 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 gimme. What? No. I said if Addie gave me $5, I would tell Nessie you to sub for him because he don't want to give Twitch money, and I completely understand. I should literally not. No, that's down the line. I don't expect donations from you all, but if you all wanted to give me the money, which goes into the Dojo Guild Bank that I do not use personally, we have about $300 in our Gaming Dojo Guild Bank, and I want to buy Space Jesus, one of our fellow Ronin. I want to buy him a new pair of headphones because his is just horrible, and I want to hear what he has to say. We're saving money. For what? I don't know, maybe live in a forest and bomb some politicians. Totally illegal. Don't do it. That was parody. All this is parody. Yes, that's our disclaimer. Everything you hear tonight is parody and satire. Only a fool would take any of this seriously. No, it's okay. Let's see. This is interesting. God, I have not listened to this. I've not read nor listened to his whole manifesto. And I'm going to make a third big monitor.
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences.
Yes, he hated the Industrial Revolution. Let's turn that up a little bit, shall we? Yes, we shall.
Have been a disaster for the human race. They have greatly increased the life expectancy of those of us who live in advanced countries, but they have destabilized society, have made life unfulfilling, have subjected human...
Again, what the fuck is going on? Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, died recently. This is his manifesto from around 30 fucking years ago, if not a little less, or a little more. And he was basically talking about modern day society 30 fucking years ago. You may not agree with everything he says. That's fine. That's what we're here for. We're all supposed to have our differences, and we're trying to find commonality in this. But just give a listen just a little bit.
Human beings to indignities have led to widespread
Especially you,
psychological suffering in the third world, to physical suffering as well, and have inflicted severe damage on the natural world. The continued development of technology will worsen the situation. It will certainly subject human beings to greater indignities and inflict greater damage on the natural world.
Isn't an eco-terrorist someone that fights for the
social disruption
environment
and psychological suffering,
with
and it
terrorism?
may even lead to increased physical suffering, even in advanced countries.
He hated technology.
The industrial technological
But he was
system
a
may survive
smart-ass
or break
fucking
down.
mathematician. He was
If
a
it
professor,
survives,
if not
it
at
may
Yale,
eventually
somewhere
achieve
else.
a low level
Very
of
smart
physical
man.
and psychological suffering, but only after it passes through a long and very painful period of adjustment, and only at the cost of permanently reducing human beings and many other living organisms to engineered products and mere cogs.
Yeah, he's
in
talking
a
about
social machine.
industrialism.
Furthermore, if the
turning us
system
all into
survives,
fucking
the
robots.
consequences will be inevitable. There is no way of
He
reforming
knew.
it or modifying the system so as to
He
prevent it
knew.
from depriving people of dignity and autonomy. If the system breaks down, the consequences will still be very painful, but the bigger the system grows, the more disastrous the results of its breakdown will be. So if it is to break down, it had best break down sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
We therefore advocate a revolution against the industrial system. This revolution may or may not make use of violence. It may be sudden, or it may be a relatively gradual
And he had a
process
plan. This
spanning
wasn't
a few
just.
decades.
This is
We
not
can't
probably a
predict
regular
any-
manifesto you all are used to hearing. This is one of the OG manifestos that got the word into the public mind. The word manifesto. He's talking about a legitimate philosophy behind his ideology and how to put it into practice. But the fucking little white boy suburban kids that do the shooting up, their manifestos, some of them are pretty intelligent sounding, but it's mostly them whining, being emo.
of that. We do outline in a very
Yes, give me
general
all
way the
demands.
measures that those who hate the industrial system should take in order to prepare the way for a revolution against
You
that
think
form
I'm
of
in
society.
debt now, Annie?
This is
You
not to
just
be a
wait till
political
audio
revolution.
gets here.
Its object
Or,
will be to
hold on.
overthrow.
My mother-in-law called our son Otto. I was like, fuck, I hadn't thought that people were probably going to call him Otto. And I fucking hate car shit. Because my whole family, like, are car mechanics. Otto. Auto deals. All right, anyway.
Not governments, but the economic and technological basis of the present society.
Audio.
In this article, we give attention to only some of the negative developments that have grown out of this industrial technological system. Other such developments we mention only briefly or ignore altogether. This does not mean we regard these other developments as unimportant. For practical reasons, we have to confine our discussion to areas that have received insufficient public attention or in which we have something new to say.
No,
For
Addie.
example,
Stay on
since there are
subject tonight, buddy.
well-developed
This is a
environmental and
practice in
wilderness
staying
movements,
on
we have written
topic.
very little about
I will
environmental
not. If you send in a
degradation or
DM,
the
I'll look it
destruction
up
of wild
later.
nature, even though we consider these to be highly important.
A dodo?
The psychology of modern leftism.
Addie, all right,
everyone-
specifically, Addie, you're going to like this part because he talks about modern leftism. Leftism is not the same as liberalism. There's a huge fucking difference. Leftism is like an indoctrinated ideology. It shouldn't even be called leftism. It's communism. It is. Some of you might be communists out there. I am up for hearing what you have to say on that too, because I used to read Karl Marx, and I used to be a proponent of practiced communism. But I found out very early in my studies that communism doesn't work with a large group of people. We talked about that last episode. Communism works best with small groups of 10,000 people or less. When you get a government, an overarching government involved in communism, then it turns into authoritarianism. So, but listen to this, Addie. You'll like this. Stay on track, Addie. Stay on topic. Listen to this, Addie. You're going to love this. You're going to laugh your ass off.
We'll agree that
Audio adodo. Oh God, stop it. I've been calling him Odds. I'm like, hey Odds, how you doing? He's gonna hate his fucking name. Lovely.
we live in a deeply troubled society. One of the most widespread manifestations of the craziness
Even
of our world is leftism.
Nessie, and I never thought of this. Even Nessie brought up last episode. She goes, wouldn't Amish communities be considered communism or socialism, like true grassroots socialism and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Kind of. You know what I mean? I mean, some Amish go out and export goods, import goods and stuff, but I mean, it's a self-sufficient economy. So I guess. Very interesting.
So a discussion
It's
of
Adi.
psychology of leftism can
Adio.
serve as an introduction to the discussion of the problem.
I'm sorry I keep stopping, but I guess we need to save the name Audio for when we're angry at them. You know, like when your parents say your full name. Christopher Michael! What? And you know you're in trouble. So like, Audio! Insert middle name here! The Amish don't need your silly labels.
Problems of modern
Absolutely.
society in
I think
general.
Amish are a subsect of
But what
the
is leftism?
Jewish faith.
During the
I
first
was
half
having
of
that
the
theory
20th
today.
century, leftism
wear
could
the
have
same
been
hats and
practically
shit.
identified with socialism. Today, the movement is fragmented
Just slightly
and it is
bigger
not clear who
hats.
can properly be called a leftist. When we speak of leftists in this article,
Yeah,
we
listen to
have in
this.
mind
Here,
men-
Addie, listen to this. I'm going to go back just slightly. Listen, and this was 30 years ago, you all. You all think leftism ideology is something new-ish. And I know some of you, well, it kind of originated in the 60s, the era of love, etc. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, it's been a thing. But that was a whole different leftism. That was liberalism. But Listen to this, Addie. What is leftism? Here we
can properly be called a leftist. When we speak of leftists in this article, we have in mind mainly socialists, collectivists, politically correct types, feminists, gay and disability activists,
This is 30
animal rights
years
activists,
ago.
and the like. But not everyone who is associated with one of these movements is a leftist. What we are trying to get at in discussing leftism is not so much movement or an ideology as a
generalizes them,
type, or rather
then
a
he
collection of
specifies,
related
but
types.
not always.
Thus, what we mean by leftism will emerge more clearly in the course of our discussion of leftist psychology.
Course.
Even
His manifesto
our
was a
conception
fucking
of leftism
course.
will remain a good deal less clear than we would wish. But there doesn't seem to be any remedy for this. All we are trying to do here is indicate in a rough and approximate way the two psychological tendencies that we believe are the main driving force
Marshall!
of
I
modern
do
leftism.
like Marshall, Annie.
We
I'll
by no
admit.
means claim to be
I
telling
don't know
the
if I
whole
like it
truth
enough
about
to give
leftist
him that middle
psychology.
name, but I do
also,
like
our
Marshall.
discussion is meant to apply to modern leftism only. We leave open the question of the extent to which the discussion could be applied to the leftists of the 19th and early 20th centuries.
Right. There's a difference.
The two psychological tendencies
It
that
evolved
underlie
over
modern
time, the
leftism we
leftism.
call feelings of inferiority and over-socialization. Feelings of inferiority.
What? Over socialization. Haven't heard that term before, I bet. Most people out there. The two psychological tendencies that underline modern leftism. Again, not a Democrat, not a liberal, not a libertarian, a leftist. It is an indoctrinated ideology. And if you're a self-proclaimed leftist and you don't know you're indoctrinated, well, that's the whole fucking point. If you do know it's an indoctrination like agenda, well, then you're probably doing things correctly on that side. But if you don't know you're indoctrinated, whether you're I hate all these fucking terms, right, left. Are you fucking kidding me? We don't live on a 2D realm. We don't live on a 2D plane, y'all. It ain't just left and right. That's what the enemy wants you to think. The enemy wants you to dumb down your fucking brain to think within just dichotomies of right, wrong, left, right, up, down. Nah, man. But the two psychological tendencies that underline modern leftism is feelings of inferiority and over-socialization. Even 30 years ago, before the internet, even over-socializing through different mediums, real life and otherwise, was seen as an underlining tendency for the leftist ideology. And there's a reason for this. And this is like a 300-page plus manifesto. We are only going to listen to a few more minutes. It's fucking crazy. But if you're interested, go look up Ted Kaczynski. Female voice reading. Actually, I think that makes it easier for everyone to digest, having a female read it. I'll be honest with you. What is the definition of over-socializing? Well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but that's a good question. Let's see. Over-social... Because you can be over-socialized. You just... Listen. You don't always need stimulation. You don't always need to be talking to someone. You don't always need to be playing video games. You don't always need to be listening to music. You don't always need to be working. You don't always need to be doing something. And this is coming from a person that constantly is doing something. I'll tell you right now, when I'm not doing stuff, and after that 5 or 10 minute mark of my brain going crazy and wanting to do something, I feel completely at ease and fine. And everything's fine. Until I start remembering about electricity and stuff later. And then you go through that 5 or 10 minute spell again. Then you get out of it again. It's because we're addicted. Fucking dopamine dripping. Over-socialization. Psychologists use the... A person is said to be well socialized if he or she believes in and obeys the moral code of their society and fits in well as a functioning part of that society. It may seem senseless to say that... They're talking about left, so it looks like it could be a political term and not necessarily a psychological term. Because even in this article, they're tying over-socialization to leftists. So it may more be of a political term, an ideological term, than an actual term. What about Webster's? Hold on. Webster's? Funny. Excuse me. So did Teddy? Yeah, where's the etymology? Help. Supposedly Teddy could have coined the term. Interesting. Yeah, leftist psychology. So There you go. So when you have a feeling of inferiority, I assume you want to go out of your way to try to find attention so you don't feel so inferior. Hence the over-socialization. Regardless. I don't know. Yeah, it could be more of a political term tied into quote-unquote leftist ideology. That maybe Teddy even coined. What is that, Nessie? What you got there, Goyle? Yeah, they keep saying was. Whatever. It makes you want to sign in. Don't worry about it. The moral code of our society is so demanding. Are you reading out of the manifesto? You're reading out of the manifesto, aren't you? The moral code of our society is so demanding that no one can think, feel, and act in a completely moral way. For example, we are not supposed to hate anyone. Here, that's over in chat. There we go. We're not supposed to hate anyone, yet almost everyone hates somebody at some time or another, whether they admit it to themselves. Some people are so highly socialized that the attempt to think, feel, and act morally imposes a severe burden on them. In order to, like peer pressure, in order to avoid feelings of guilt, they continually have to deceive themselves about their own motives. Right. Over socialized. Explanations for feelings and actions that in reality have a non-moral origin. So the way that term ties it in is that you have it's like following the herd sort of mentality. You have a moral compass based on what the people around you are saying, based on who you're socializing with. It's not like you're feeling it or thinking well, maybe you are feeling it, but you're not thinking about it, going through the critical thinking stages, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it would seem, according to all this stuff, right, not a non-moral origin. It's indoctrination. It's propaganda, like I was saying. All right. I think that makes sense. Over socialized equal, yes. Well, following the herd. If you follow the mainstream, you're part of the herd. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Whether the mainstream's peddling nationalism and going to war or pushing love, peace, and donuts, you're part of the problem if you follow the mainstream. Don't follow the mainstream. Don't be part of the counterculture when the counterculture is mainstream, because that don't make no fucking sense. I'm just saying. Teddy, please tell me more.
Inferiority are characteristic of modern leftism as a whole, while over-socialization is characteristic only of a certain segment of modern leftism.
A certain segment of modern leftism.
Feelings of inferiority. By feelings of inferiority, we mean not only inferiority feelings in the strict sense, but as a whole spectrum of related traits: low self-esteem, feelings of powerlessness, depressive tendencies, defeatism, guilt, self-hatred, etc. We argue that modern leftists tend to have some such feelings.
What does that say? Yeah, you can't see it over here. Over-socialized people have internalized the norms of society. Over-socialized people have internalized the norms of society to such an extent they are incapable of rebelling against those norms. Right. It's indoctrination. No matter, again, if, during the Bush days, you were over-socialized in the sense if you were all about the war and stuff. Nowadays, in the post-Obama era, you are now over-socialized if you're all about the peace, love, and cupcakes. Again, if you're part of the mainstream, you're part of the problem. Because the mainstream only uses people. It never helps. The mainstream never helps anyone but itself. The mainstream, I'm talking about news, movies, video games, fucking influencers, all of that shit. They don't help you. They help themselves. Okay? Okay. Because guess what? They make money.
Possibly more or less repressed. And that
What's going on, V-Sama-Lama Ding Dong? Hello, Viandra.
When someone interprets as derogatory...
Exactly, Annie, right. Suppression of one's individuality is, I guess, the name of the game for over-socializing someone. Right. I think Japan, if we want to really go into that, I think Japan is a huge example of over-socialization. What do you think? At least in some respects. I'm not saying they're leftists, and I'm not trying to tie that term into leftist psychology as they are. But I would think... Because think about it, like, why do you think there's so many skinny people in Japan? There's some bigger people, but it's because they literally go around and poke on your belly, and they don't call you fat. They'll just say, looks like you've been enjoying a lot of meals. But they don't do that once a week. They'll do that every fucking day, all day. to peer pressure you into losing weight. Now that's good peer pressure, I suppose, but they do that with every fucking thing in Japan. I mean, it's goddamn. They still have emperors, don't they? They have a fucking emperor, for crying out loud. What's going on, gay boy? Stop ranting and start talking about the Jews. Oh, I will. So Teddy died, as you know, Boba. You brought it up first in the dojo. I had no idea. We'll just say he died. I don't know if he killed himself. He died, maybe. And we're just kind of listening a little bit to his manifesto in remembrance, and then we'll get started with tonight's topic: religion or origins of thereof. Yes. All right, just let's get to the 6-minute mark.
Almost anything that is said about him or about groups with whom
Death
he
of
identifies,
the soul.
we conclude
Right,
that
you
he
become a
has
bug
inferiority
person.
feelings or low
Become a
self-esteem.
cog in the machine.
This tendency is pronounced among minority
the machine
rights
has different
activists, whether or
purposes,
not they belong to the minority
depending on
groups
what's
whose
going
rights
on.
They defend. They are hypersensitive about the words used to designate minorities and about anything that is said.
Yeah, conformity is
concerning
big in
minorities.
Japan. Absolutely.
The term
yeah.
Negro, Oriental, handicapped, or chick for an African, an Asian, a disabled person, or a woman originally had no derogatory connotation. Broad and chick were merely the feminine equivalents of guy, dude, or fellow. The negative connotations have been attached to these terms by the activists themselves. Some animal rights activists have gone so far as to reject the word pet and
Again, Teddy B was not a leftist or a rightist. He was somewhere. He wasn't even in the center. He was somewhere off in space. Not saying it was completely wrong or completely right or whatever, but he had ideology from all fucking sides, kind of like yours truly here. But yeah, talking about like, you might say, well, some of those terms are misogynistic. Well, he's trying to say they weren't originally, but negative connotations were tied to them. Now, you may not agree with that. And then he started, he didn't like animal activists. He was an eco-terrorist. He believed in saving the environment, getting rid of machines and using oil and stuff. He was on both sides. He was an amalgamation of the whole system. He was literally, this is the poster child of America, the Unabomber. If you wanted to name one person in all of America to kind of sum up 400 or 500 years of history, it would be this motherfucker.
insist on replacement by animal companion. God. Leftish anthropologists go to great lengths to avoid saying anything about...
He's going into language. He's just going into how language can be used to indoctrinate. Some animal rights activists have gone so far as to reject the word pet and insist on replacement by animal companion. Again, this was 30 years ago. Which that might sound like a new thing, but I've heard that before, and I don't think. See, that's like extreme. That's what he was. I think he was the centrist because he was against extremism, except for bombing people. That's where his extremism came into play. But he was against the extreme lefts. He was against the extreme rights. He was against the extreme animal rights activists. I don't know. He was all over the place. It's hard.
Primitive peoples that could conceivably be interpreted as negative. They want to replace the word primitive by non-literate.
Really into horses?
They may
Yeah,
seem
ask
almost
Annie.
paranoid about anything that might suggest that primitive culture is
Guys and
inferior to
gals.
ours. We do not mean to imply that primitive cultures are inferior to ours. We merely point out the hypersensitivity of leftish anthropologists. Those who are most sensitive about
Leftist
politically
anthropologists. Funny enough, years later they would eventually be called socialists.
terminology are not the average black ghetto dweller, Asian immigrant, abused woman, or disabled person.
Or not socialists, sociologists.
But a minority of activists, many whom do not even belong to any oppressed group, but come from a privileged strata of society. Political correctness has a strong hold among university professors who have secure employment with comfortable...
Right. Listen, so this is very interesting. Let's reread that. You may have not heard her correctly. Those who are most sensitive about PC terminology are not average black ghetto dwellers, Asian immigrants, abused women, or disabled people. Like the people who've actually gone through pain. And that's the thing. Obviously, people who go through a lot of pain aren't going to be that sensitive, yes, to things. They've grown a thick skin, you could say, so they can deal with it. Rather, the people who get sensitive about fucking PC terminology are those who belong to a privileged strata of society. Sound fucking familiar? Most of these activists out there, they got money. They come from fucking rich parents and shit. Greta Thunberg, have you ever looked into her parents? Huh? She ain't some little fucking kid from the gutter, Her parents they're bigwigs. So, it's weird. It's like it's the privileged who get fucking. See, I never had privilege. I had privilege when I was a little kid because I had a con artist of a millionaire stepfather, and I got anything I fucking wanted. And then when I was torn from that life and went into reality, I have had no privilege since then. I've had anti-privilege. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Salaries, and the majority of whom are heterosexual white males from middle to upper middle class families. Many leftists have an intense identifications with the problems of groups.
Same with a lot of school shooters and stuff. Maybe they're not all from rich families, but they're all from privileged, at least suburban families. Strange.
That have an image of being weak, women, defeated, American Indians, repellent, homosexuals, or otherwise inferior. The leftists themselves feel that these groups are inferior. They would never admit to themselves that they have such feelings, but it is precisely because they do see these groups as inferior that they identify with their problems. We do not mean to suggest that women, Indians, etc. are inferior. We're only making a point about leftist.
Okay, interesting. This will be the last point. And again, this whole manifesto will probably come up again in later episodes of CTO because it's an interesting listen or read, no matter what you believe in. It's an amalgamation, like I said, of different ideologies, and it's just interesting, whether you agree with any of this or not. Hold on. Pyrocentrist. Yeah, absolutely. Are you knocking on something? I'm not, Chani. Let me see. Turn on the front light, babe. Hello? Is anyone out there? I've got a hatchet or 5. If you're selling anything. We've had a homeless person try to break into the house during a stream one time. That was fun. Yeah, turn on the front light, Nessie. Okay. No, I was probably the cats. Like, literally someone tried to break into the house during a stream earlier this year, last year. Nessie was like, someone's fiddling with the knob. And I just started screaming at him out there. Anyway. Most farm animals usually don't live inside your house. You can have outside pets, though. From a privileged strata of society, that's because those groups listed would be used to a level of oppression. Hold on. Yes, you can see that. Whereas the privileged persons can see the imbalance in society because they see how good that could be true, or maybe even the opposite. Like they're I don't think all privileged people can see both sides, though. I think more often than not they see their side. Well, no, I see what you're saying. Right. So like they live their life privileged, and then maybe at a certain point they realize other people's lives aren't so great. Therefore, they can see both sides of it. That's true. But he's not, and that's the thing. You can't listen to Teddy B's manifesto with like a biases, although we all have our own biases. But you really have to listen to just what he's saying and what he's really meaning. So he's not saying it's because they're privileged. He's simply saying most of these leftist activists come from privileged society. But he's not necessarily saying because they are privileged. It's because they come from. So he probably would agree with you. Dimsby house animals. So let's read this again. This is very interesting. Again, you probably got to listen or read his manifesto a few times to really understand what he's saying. You got to go into it almost with a neutral stance on stuff. Let's see. And I could be wrong. Let's see. Many leftists. And again, he's already, if you notice, he puts disclaimers at the end of every one of these paragraphs to let you know exactly what he means. When he's talking about leftists here, he's talking about a certain sect of indoctrinated leftists who believe in something not because of morals, but because of a sense of obligation to those around them. That's called indoctrination, whether it's good or bad. Many leftists have intense identifications with the problems of the groups of quote unquote weak, quote unquote defeated, quote unquote repellent, and he put those different words in the brackets there and in the parentheses like as examples or otherwise inferior. The leftists themselves feel that these groups are inferior. Now, see, that's something me and Nessie have talked about, and I truly believe that. I truly believe a lot of these leftists are the fucking racists. They are the sexists. But they put into a weird quasi-practice where it almost seems, it's on the surface, seems like the opposite. But in reality, they feel like these people are inferior, hence why they feel like they must defend them. Let me reiterate that. A lot of leftists, especially whites, that defend black people, they think they're inferior because they think they're all oppressed, and that's what they fight for them. I'm not just generalizing that. That's true. And not all black people are poor. Not all black people are stupid. Not like all white people are poor. All white people are stupid. Whatever, you know. But they think that. They think, oh, black people need our help, so we must help them because they're so oppressed. Everyone's fucking oppressed. It doesn't matter about your skin. If you're sitting here watching this show, you're probably oppressed. Okay? If you watch the Gaming Dojo, you probably are oppressed by something. Yourself, your society, Walmart, whatever. Okay? But that's all it's saying here. The leftists themselves feel that these groups are inferior, hence why they identify with them being weak. Because they're generalizing black people. They're generalizing women. They're generalizing American Indians. You know, one of the best shooters in all of history was a fucking woman. Just saying. As another example. But the left, it's so... I don't even have the words to explain the mindset some of these people are in. Again, it's not all of them. We're talking about leftists here. We're not talking about liberals or Democrats. We're talking about leftists here. It's like trying to compare Republicans with the alt-right. It's not the same fucking thing. If you think it is, you might want to reconsider your stance. But there's a whole array of different sides and subsects of each side. They would never admit to themselves they have such feelings, but it's precisely because they do see these groups as inferior that they identify with their problems. Again, we are not suggesting women, Indians, or others are inferior. We are only making up... See, again, if you would only listen to that once, and I don't know if you are hearing what he's saying now, even when I heard that just the first time, I was like, wait a minute, and that's why I had to stop and reread it again. But I agree with what he's saying. Because I've heard that stance from all sorts of people. It's like, I think the anti-racists are actually racist. Yeah, no shit. Racism, racism. Two sides of the same coin. Okay? Anything that's anti of something else is the same fucking thing as it's the same. That's where dichotomy is kind of a reality. You got the antithesis of said thing, but ironically, the antithesis of said thing, like an anti-hero, is basically the same fucking thing, but in a different way. Fascists and anti-fascists. Anti-fascists are fascists! Because if you don't believe in anti-fascism, they beat your head in with a billy club. I mean, again, I'm generalizing. Not all fucking anti-fascists beat people with billy clubs, but I've seen a lot of violent anti-fascists, both in real life and on the internet and on TV. I've talked to them. They're violent people because they believe they're in a certain... And this is the part of them I believe is true. Antifa's shit. Okay? The anti-fascists were real. They got taken over. They turned to Antifa. Antifa is an indoctrination system. But that's a whole other topic. But regardless, if you're in a violent system that uses everyone, you sometimes have to use violence to fight the system. Hence, what this guy did, Teddy, he bombed politicians and corporate CEOs to prove a point. But yes, sometimes you can't win against a violent system with peace. That's not going to work. Well, what about Vietnam? They pulled out of Vietnam because they had done enough experimentations and they didn't want to keep riding that pony into the fire. They jumped off that pony, when they were done with it. Okay? I'm just saying. Shit's not as simple as we've all been bred to believe. It really isn't. Let me go back to chat and then we'll move on to tonight's topic. But there you go, Addy. Addy, there's your Teddy B segment. Read his manifesto, listen to it. And I suggest everyone listen to his manifesto or read it. They got audiobook versions. It's just very interesting. And you'd have to read it a few times to really understand what the fuck he's saying, because if you go in with the biases, no matter the biases, you'll be like, oh yeah, he's a based alpha Chad. He's totally Republican. Or you go in, oh, he's so racist and stuff. He's neither of those things. He was the real fucking deal. And he put ideology into action. But again, don't do what Teddy did. Totally illegal. The FBI will be up your ass faster than anything. Don't do it. Anyway, thank you, Teddy. Let me go back to chat. I see Alcatraz. Hello, sir. How you doing? Sip sippy. Let me go back. I want to hear what y'all have to say. Let's see. La la la. Are these his personal ideas? Yeah, see, Nessie, this was, I don't know if they called it, he called it a manifesto, yeah. No, he was a professor at a huge university. It could have been Yale even. And, of course, he was going to write his manifesto in a way that was like a fucking peer-reviewed paper. But he also keeps suggesting we are only making, it even says right there, we are only making a point about leftist psychology. So this wasn't just his opinion. This was a study, which are different than other manifestos. A poor person has always been poor. A person in privilege has it better. With the contribution of race, there's a visible difference. See, you're the racist. Next, V. People with money and voices are typically classified as privileged. That's what I think gives real privilege. Money. It ain't your fucking... Like, if you're Japan and if you're Japanese in Japan, you're going to have Japanese privilege. If you're black in, like, Nigeria, you're going to have Nigerian privilege. If you're in America and you're white, you're probably going to have American privilege. It's not the fucking skin color. That's just a coincidence. Hell, South Africans? Hell, you could be... See, that's where true equality is, and you see all the chaos there. But regardless, South Africans, you could be I'm South African, but you're white. Yeah, I'm South African. I'm South African. You're black. It makes sense. What do you mean that makes sense? South Africa is full of different races. So South Africa, you get no race privilege there. You get no ethnicity privilege there. But I do agree with V about the money. Yeah, money is what makes you privileged. That's the truth. I'm not going to say it's the only privilege in life, because obviously I just gave off ethnicity or cultural privilege. But money is what gives you privilege. Because you can buy out a racist. You can buy out anyone that's different than you, that don't like you. You know what I mean? Acknowledging racism shouldn't be racism. No. Anti-racists do not acknowledge racism. They want to end all racism, which is an authoritarian race. It's racist. And a lot of anti-racists believe all whites are racist and all that, and that's complete horseshit. Is this even belief, though? Only simply compliance? Specifically what, Annie? I'm sorry, I'm getting cut back in chat. Is that even really belief? Were you asking V or talking about Teddy? But yes, Alka, thank you for coming in, sir. Hope you're having a good night. But skin color often determines which specific flavor suppression an individual. Not always, though. That's relative to one's environment. As I was giving out examples with, like, being Japanese in Japan. And skin color itself, in a lot of countries, they don't care about skin color. It's your ethnicity. Because you can be a fucking pale black person. You can be a pale Afghani. You can be a very dark-skinned Italian. I don't think Italians internally are like, oh, I don't like darker-skinned Italians. Maybe. That's stupid. Don't tell me what I was bred to believe. Oh, I will. Mm-hmm. Harvard? I thought it was Yale. Yeah, money can buy you any privilege that you want. There you go. There you go, Annie. That's a better way to put it. There's many privileges in life, but money can buy you any of those. I don't know. This was for Addy. He's probably bombing people right now. I told him not to. Hey, Twitch, I gave out the disclaimer. University of Michigan, Chicago, University of... Yeah, he was all over the place. Okay, I thought he had taught at Yale. I'm probably thinking of someone else. Nope, I'm here, Annie. It's fine. Well, I don't want to talk too much about this. I'm interested, and I want to talk about it on a later episode. I want to go into religion, though. It's already, an hour into stream? Yeah, we only got another, 2 hours at most, so I really wanted to get into this first part of the Zeitgeist documentary. For those that haven't seen it, I'm very excited. I think you're going to be excited, too. I want to talk about it at length. We're going to go over religion a lot in this show, because it's not talked about enough because people hate it. Well, guess what? Religion ruled the world for a longer time than you've been fucking alive. So you got to give a little bit of respect to all religions, because they've done a number on this world. He taught mathematics at Berkeley. That's what it was. Motherfucker was boo. I'm still here learning a lot. There's a lot to learn. No, Addy, I think, and again, the reason I think this is so interesting, the way he puts all this, the way he words all this, I could hear, someone saying this shit nowadays about this shit. But this was 30 plus years ago, before most of us were even alive. And we think all this shit's new. What did I tell y'all? The enemy will use the same tricks over and over again every 20 or 30 years. Every 20 or 30 years. Keep that in mind. That's every what? Two generations? I had a titty fish. What's going on, boy? Titty fish over there talking about masturbating. Yeah, look, we can see what you're saying there. Mm-hmm. No, we can't actually. I had a choice to masturbate. Wait. Why? Why can't I see that on my chat? I can't see titty fish on my chat. I see that he's in here, but it doesn't say I had a choice to masturbate or watch the stream. Figured I'd kill two birds with one stone. Oh yeah, boy, we about to get very sensual up in here. Is titty blocked? Oh, there it is. Okay, no, it's fine. All right. Okay. Thank you. Can I get some clap? Again, you all the audience. The only commands you can really use are some of the sound ones. But please, if you don't mind, you all are my soundboard every CTO. Thank you. Thank you. We give up a piece of ourselves whenever we adjust to conform. Exactly. Now, I want to piggyback off that the segue. That and we're plugged in too. Too plugged in. We're letting technology take over our lives willingly. Absolutely. So, okay. So you can look at that first part in two different ways. Like we give up a piece of ourselves whenever we want to adjust or whenever we want to conform to society standards. So here's the thing. That's both a good and a bad thing in my opinion. You don't want to give up a part of yourself. You don't want to compromise a part of yourself for something you don't like, right? Like a lot of us don't like the way society is, no matter what side of the fence you're on. But guess what? To be part of a civilization, you have to conform. That's just part of the... Going back to privilege. Let's talk about this. You want privilege? You need to conform to society. That's another sort of privilege, right? Hold on, I'm getting a little off track in my head. Let me try to back up a little bit. So this is what I just try to tell people. Kind of like Ben Shapiro would say, facts don't care about your feelings. But if you want to live in a civilized society, or any society, but we'll talk about civilized first world society. If you want to live in a first world society, you have to compromise yourself. That's the trade-off. Now, I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm saying this is how the enemy thinks of it, and it's kind of logical. If you want the amenities and privileges of living in a first world society, you don't get it for fucking free. Freedom don't come for free. Absolutely not. You have to give and they'll get. Or you have to give and then they'll give. So you have to kind of be indoctrinated. Kind of have to be a cog in the system. You just have to. I don't know. I guess that's where it ends there for me. But I believe that's true, though. I believe you should have to compromise yourself to live in a civilized society because you have to kind of be homogenous. And I'm not talking about in a racial way, but homogenous. You got to be part of the herd a little bit, or the system fails. Now, not all systems are great. Some systems should fail. But if you're against the system, don't be inside the system. Get the privileges of said system, and then be against the system. That's bullshit. And that's why a lot of Republicans or rightists don't like a lot of leftist ideology, because they spout all this shit, but then they're using the exact same system they fucking abhor to spout their non-system shit. I'm doing it right now. I hate Twitch. I'm doing it right now, but I'm not an activist. So, I'm just a talkist. Blah, I want to discuss, not listen to some rando lecture through a lens. I think my lens is one of the most clearest lenses, though, Annie. Because I'm willing to be wrong. If you're willing to be wrong, you got all the power. As long as you learn. Willing to be wrong and learn. I'll do what I want, you suit. And you will fail, sir. You will fail. You like these sunglasses, Titty Fish? I could see you in these glasses, bro. I don't know. Like Teddy B, right? Teddy B, he went outside the system. He went off the grid, hunted his own food, gathered his own water, and fought against the system. That's in my opinion, that's genuine activism right there. That's genuine activism. He didn't want the privilege anymore. He didn't want his fucking paychecks anymore. He destroyed his entire life and career so he could sacrifice himself for what he thought was the greater good. That's activism. Not recording like whoever on your fucking phone and screaming the same 2 or 3 words over and 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 over. Shut up! That ain't activism. That's being a fucking pussy. Hey. You know what kills me? The whole July 6th incident, and we're not going to go into this too much. This will be a later episode. I thought all the liberals, leftist Democrats, they'd be for all that. Let's take over the White House. Absolutely. How could you be against wanting to take over the White House? Why didn't you leftists think of that first? Idiots. Huh? You should have taken over the White House. I would have been there too. But no. Oh, they were uprooting democracy. Christ. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Absolutely, Annie. I get you. Well, that's another reason I wanted CTO to be live is because, I think it was even more biased with just me talking about the topics for at least the Hollywood episode and all the other episodes I had planned. So I think making this more live, and I want some of y'all, you all can, hold on, I'm not even in the fucking Discord channel. So we do have a CTO live set VC channel in Discord. And whenever certain guests want to be on the show, and it can be impromptu, I can pop you up. You can come up in here. I can pop you up on the screen, and we can talk. So there you go, Annie. See, I've thought of everything. I just haven't enacted it all yet. Oh, God. January 6th. Don't even get me started. Titty Fish, time to get serious. We're going to talk about religion. I'm going to destroy your life. I'm going to destroy everything, and you're going to thank me. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so funny you're here, Titty Fish. Okay, we're to segue into tonight's topic, religions or origins thereof. I don't know why I keep saying it. We're going to watch a certain music video that is against religion and has a very strong message at the end. Yes, Titty Fish, we're watching that video. And then we will segue into the doc, and then we'll finally get started with tonight's topic. Thank you for being here. No, Addie, don't tell me what to do. I will fucking strangle you. And you'll like it. And didn't you even see my awesome Eddie Izzard throwback? Where? No. That's no, Annie. Yes, but no, Annie. Religion is a tool, my friend. Like anything. And it's how it's used, you know what I mean? But yes, it's become a giant fucking joke in many ways.
Yeah. I got voices in my head again.
Tread carefully.
And I don't medicate it.
Helps me temporarily. Ooh.
I got problems, I got issues, yeah, apparently. Trauma that I'm burying. I think I need some therapy. I battle depression. I'm
Hold on.
back with a message.
He's back with a message. What's his message? We'll know at the end. Maneuvers. Stop it. It's good shit though. I mean, that stand-up is like a fucking class. It is like a dissertation. It's a good one. Maybe we will have a little Eddie Izzard on CTO. He brings up some good points. Most of it in a comedic way. Oh, yeah, Ronnie Radke. Ronnie Radke's evolved a lot over the years, hasn't he? Jesus. Well, Zen, this is our segue into the religion topic tonight because of what he says at the end, so enjoy. Enemies trying to get rid of me. Oh. Fucking with me mentally. Oh. What? Dumb. Acting like don't know, yeah. Bruh, I'm glad you noticed. I've been trying to grow out these sideburns. I've been trying to capture my chin more. Hold on, who the hell's that? No one was invited. Oh, Annie's there. Yes, so if you aren't talking, if we're not having a guest at the moment, please be muted in this channel, just for this channel specifically. But if you do want to be a guest, we'll set it up. Hit me up in chat within Discord, and then I'll set up your reactive and stuff. And yeah, so just be our little audience there, Annie, and anyone else who wants to jump in here. And then if you all have something that will take more than a few minutes to type, then yeah, then hit me up. We'll get you on here. Fucking lighting. Yeah, I'm trying to get a different look. Ask Nancy. I want to get some new outfits. I've been wearing the same. I have some of the same shit since I was fucking 16, bro. Yes, it's the professional way. But yes, if you have something to say, Annie, verbally, because I want to be able to like put you all on screen and put a face to the voice. And but if you have anything to say that will take more than a few minutes to type, or just a few things typed, then hit me up and we'll get you set up. All right. I have to set it up, hence why I need you to tell me in advance. If did you hear me? Are you deaf? Hello. Fucking lighting. Yeah, if you got something that will take, if you got something that is more than a few words to type that, you know, we need to discuss, then yes, say in chat, I want to be a guest. Let me be the guest now, and then I'll put your face up. And I have to set that up. No. That's what I was saying. If it's something that Well, the only thing is we have only 2 monitors. And this monitor over here where my hand is, this is for you all. This is for to see you all and to see guests. Yes, but I'll only be able to stream the dock. I cannot actually stream all this mess. Yeah. Oh, wait. What do you got, Nessie? On topic, I've been researching the Bible, the commandments since our last episode, and I've had a lot of eye-opening thoughts by comparing what different religions claim is required by God based on human perception, not actually the word of God. It's their interpretation. Yeah. I'm becoming more of the mind that a majority of the Bible serves the same purposes as Aesop's fables, and the only thing God actually commanded the people to do was listed possibly on the commandments. And then Titty says, bottom line is the Bible was written by people who didn't know where the sun was at nighttime. Addie, but have you studied the Gospel of Sullivan Noth? I've never heard of that. Might need to post that. Either DM or either they're in chat. Yeah, if y'all got sources, definitely post them in chat. I think everyone will want to see it. He's a little taller than us. He probably could. Just stand on a slightly higher hill. No, so far I've only compared a few of the Abrahamic religions. Yeah, we're definitely going to go in the Abrahamic shit. Most people don't know that term, Abrahamic religions. It will blow you away once you realize what it is after tonight's episode. Titty, Jewish people are considered the chosen people, yet they don't believe in hell. But the most common religion, Christianity, where they preach hell is real. Let me give you a little spoiler alert. All Christian faiths, all, Catholicism, Baptist, Presbyterian, 99% of all Christian-based faiths, God or Christ-based faiths, you know what I call it? I call it Judaism light. Okay? Ask Nessie. You know how many tenets the Jewish people have to follow? 623. Something to that effect. That's too much for most people. That's just too much. So, you know, I want to be religious, but I don't want to have to go over 623 tenets every day. Maybe 10. 10 sounds like a good round number, hence Judaism light. But basically, if you're a Christian, you're a Jew. My grandparents, who are hellfire and brimstone crazy Catholics, they always have told me the Jews were the chosen people and they are the cattle of the Jews. Christ was a Jew. Christ was a Jew. Or Jesus. Some do. There were a few tribes back then, because there were 12 Jewish tribes. There were probably more at some point, but there was at least 2 or 3 that saw Christ. Hell, Jesus was a king. He wasn't a fucking poor carpenter's son. That's all bullshit. He was a king, and he had followers. So, well, that's the thing, too. Some of them do recognize him as a saint. Others do recognize him as a child of God. And I'm talking about other Jewish sects. And then other people... Well, no, I want to say that's not the standard. That's the stereotype, that Jews hate Jesus. If anything... No, you're right. Definitely with the Talmud, which is the major Jewish text. There's several, but the Torah and the Talmud are the 2 main ones. And within the Talmud, they definitely don't believe that. But again, that's only one book for one Jewish tribe, and there's so many other tribes, and have been, and probably will be going forward, and they all have different perceptions on who this Jesus character was. But yes, the stereotype normally is what you're saying. Outlast 2. Oh no, they are. Oh no, they absolutely are. Well, well, absolutely. What about Hitler? Hitler was a Zionist Jew. So why did he try to kill all the Jews? It's the same principle. I'm talking about Jews. I'm talking about Jewish trickery throughout history. Now we'll get banned. You absolutely can, though. You can. It's called indoctrination. You can absolutely think you're standing for one thing when it's something completely different. So Annie, you're still talking, and I don't see your face over there. But we are talking about religion, so that's fine. Not you, me. Yeah, there's a voice in my head. No, I can and I will say it because it's my show. All Christians are Jews. They just don't know it. They just don't know it. And I know it's a brash statement to make. Maybe I'll convince you after tonight's show. Maybe I'll convince you just a little bit. Probably not. No, and and obviously you know me. I'm definitely saying it to get a rise out of people. It's both. It's like a half truth. I didn't. I say they're Jews light. Like Bud Light, they're Jews light. All Muslims are Jews too. Muslims are Jews too. Muslims, not possums, you freak. All Abrahamic religions are Jewish in origin, in etymology. So that's why I say it like that. Yeah, he was the big boy. Yeah, like Nessie said, yeah. Okay. Let's finish this fucking song. But yeah, it's mostly get a rise. If I ever try to get a rise out of any of you with the shit I say, it's not to piss you off. Maybe a little bit of me wants to piss you off. But it's to get you all to question what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, oh, is what he's saying real? Is what I believe real? Is what he's saying not real? It's just to get you to question what the fuck weird thing I'm saying. Question yourself with the weird shit I'm saying.
Listening? Stacking every little pretty penny that I'm getting, and I'm never giving in to anybody. Always winning, never kidding when I time, taking everybody with me. You're never gonna get me, cause you never see a simple. Yeah, my syllables of the letter of Philip. I'm a lyrical, typical super villain. I'm venomous, and I'm never gonna stop until they put me on top of the list. I can't control the monster any longer that's inside. The pain and sorrow left our soul.
All right, here we go. The message of the song. And look, it's segueing into a church. Perfect. Uh-oh. I'm coughing in your all's ear. Fucking mute button. He gets hard here. Zen, where are you? Zen, when he does this part, I was like, whoa! Like he does that. Yes. Growl more at me. Do it. All right, Zen. The fear. Fucking Cyclops. Break the fucking chains. Thank you, Ronnie Radke. Amazing. Godzilla. Anxiety and allergies suck. That's why I've seen different. You haven't seemed that all different. But welcome, Godzilla. Welcome to the show. We're finally just getting started. We're having a few topics of a few things, and now we're segueing into tonight's topic. let us start Zeitgeist, a documentary about 3 topics, but we're only going to watch the first part. This doc is about religion, 9/11, and financial institutions, banks, what have you, money. And they all have different vibes. Let's see. Like the religion one blew my mind back in the day. The 9/11 one made me fucking cry my eyes out. That's a whole other story. And then the third one makes you realize all the money you're making, which everyone realizes about nowadays, or should, that all the money you're making, money doesn't have any worth. Absolutely not. And then they tell you how much it doesn't have worth. And that was fucking, this doc came out 15, 20 years ago. So money is far worthless now than it ever was. But they're the most important. They are very important. 9/11's a big deal. 9/11 is not politics. It is fact. Yeah. Inside job terrorism. Oh, what you got, Nessie? It's random news attached to this for the last few weeks. Christians have been attacked in Israel for practicing their religion there, and the government is either not stopping it or claiming they have no power to intervene. Well, yeah. So there's still examples of religions causing conflict on larger scales despite this day and age. Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the Middle East and whatnot. Well, I was going to say, Pakistan, or Palestine, not Pakistan, Palestine, yeah. Like, Israel is an occupation. It's not a country. Don't ban me, Twitch. Don't ban me. Israel. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. Israel's an occupation, not a country. Open borders for Israel. Open borders. Oh, they don't go back and forth. You want to look at a map? Jesus Christ. There is barely any Palestine left. Just Palestinian people. Oh, yeah. As they beat each other, yes. V. All right. Can we get a poll? Just a quick poll out there. If we, I could do. No, I don't have any imagery set up for the heat maps in CTO. Can we get a little poll to see who has seen the very first Zeitgeist doc? Again, there's like 3. There's Zeitgeist Addendum, and then Zeitgeist, what do we do about it, or solutions, some shit like that. I feel like the other 2 are actually actual propaganda made by an external source that didn't make the first. I don't have any evidence of that, nor do I feel like proving it, but I can just tell by the shit they say and what they say that it's 2 completely different groups. But thank you. We got a poll going up in chat. Please vote. Have you seen the very first Zeitgeist doc? For those who don't know what the definition means, of which I just forgot myself. It's like paradigm. It's like a paradigm shift. Huh. Yeah, it is. The spirit of the age, the taste, outlook, and spirit characteristic of a period. And it is a German word. So don't get scared. Don't get scared. They don't talk about Germans in this. Oh, what? But have I seen the first doc? Yes, I have. But please, again, if you're in the chat, I'm just curious. Have you seen the very first Zeitgeist documentary? Of which we're about to watch the first part of here in just a second. If you swap your gender and make yourself half naked, you basically have what Bray does. Bray? Wait, who are you talking about? I'm naked on occasion, Godzilla. I guess you keep missing it. All right, for the 2 that voted out there, myself included, 2 of us have seen it. The rest don't know what the fuck's going on. So that's fabulous. Absolutely wonderful. So the first part of this is only 37 minutes long. One of the shorter parts of the doc. It's a 2-hour movie. I'm going to go ahead and post this. And this is an edited version, you all. They blurred out some visuals. They did some weird audio stuff here and there, which is kind of scary. I will try to point out any discrepancies I remember from the original. I couldn't find it, bro. I looked for days and days and days, and every time I'd go to certain parts, they were always blurred out or something. So, and I couldn't find my original hobo disc, so I do apologize. What? Shut up. I ain't buying that. Just download it. Just play it. Yes. Wait, what? Crossbreeding in Scientology? Yeah. Okay. So again, in the future, we're going to have a even bigger monitor that will superimpose the whole screen when we watch certain things, and then we'll have an animation that takes it off, brings it back. We can talk, watch the video. But for now, we're just going to have to zoom in on that little video there. But enjoy. We are going to stop the video occasionally to talk. We're not going to try to stop it too much because this is a 40-minute video, and we'll turn it into about a 4-hour segment, and that's too long. So I'm going to try to control myself. Y'all ready? Give me an alert. Remember, the alert out there, the alert command is to, like, tell me shut the fuck up or something. Yeah, that. Use that when things are out of control. It ain't for me, but this is going to be a podcast, and I don't want it longer than 2 or 3 hours if I can help it. Data issues. I don't have enough memory on my hard drives. On occasion, on average, people will listen to a podcast between an hour and a half. Some people can get away with 2 or 3 hours like Joe Rogan because he's well known, but I am not. Therefore, I don't want to overstay my company. And when people look at my videos on my playlist, they'll notice the time. They're like 3 hours, 10 hours. I don't want to look at that shit. So, I'm trying to make it succinct. Succinct. And we're practicing. Maybe that's a great place to end it then. That will really keep people on their heels and ready for the next episode. Nessie just peed herself. Why don't you wear a diaper, girl? Why didn't you get any... So Nessie is pregnant, and audio occasionally kicks her in the bladder when she sneezes. Nessie, you dirty. Jesus Christ. Stop it. He will be an alien. He is the Messiah. Or whatever the antithesis of that is. Antichrist. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Let me know if y'all get any audio problems, any static, other than that, actual static. Oh, hold on. We need subtitles, definitely. All right, here we go. So this is, it's going to have a little intro. It's an amalgamation of different philosophers and people talking about certain things, and it segues into its first topic, religion. Again, thank you for coming out for a second episode of CTO tonight, you all. I hope you enjoy the topic at hand, and please, no matter what you believe, let us know in chat, and we'll definitely discuss it. Let's go.
Is a particular term which actually means dealing with intuition.
Spirituality is dealing with intuition.
In the theistic tradition, there is notion of clinging into a word. A certain act is regarded as displeasing to divine principles.
And no, it's not just
act
this.
is regarded as pleasing
Hot.
divine whatever.
That's definitely a reaction. Hot.
In the tradition of non-theism, however, it is very direct that the case history are not particularly important. What is actually important is here and now.
That's hot.
Here and now. Now is definitely now.
Now is definitely the now. I
Trying
can't
to
disagree with that.
experience what is available there on the spot.
Well, I don't know.
There's no point in thinking that
I
the
think I'm
past
sure.
did exist.
I'm sure.
We have now. This is now. This very moment. Nothing mystical, just now. Very simple, straightforward.
Okay, these subtitles are
From that
not.
nowness, however,
Uh-oh. What's going on? Oh, no. Something happened in Firefox. They're trying to get me. They're trying to stop this stream. You ain't gonna stop it. You ain't stopping nothing.
arising.
These subtitles are not correctly. He said Mr. Gold and Harbor. Fuck. These are just, this is an AI CC. Closed captions, so meh.
a sense of
Just listen, I guess.
intelligence, always. That you are constantly interacting with the reality, one by one, spot by spot, constantly. We actually experience fantastic precision, always. But we are threatened by the now, so we jump to the past or the future. Paying attention to the materials that exist in our life, all these choices takes place all the time, but none of them are regarded as bad or good per se. Everything we experience are unconditional experience. They don't come along with a label by saying this is regarded as bad, this is good. But we experience them, but we don't actually pay heed to them properly. We don't actually regard them
And again,
that we are going somewhere.
My first experience with this doc was given to me by a hobo when I worked at GameStop. He said, you're going to need this. You need this. I don't know what he said. He said something about needing. Maybe he needed $1. I don't know what the fuck he said. But I popped this in, my PS2, Xbox 360, whatever the fuck I used to watch it. And I'm watching this intro, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? What am I watching? And I didn't fast forward anything. I just kept watching. And I didn't stop watching until it was done. So, again, this is not the whole fucking thing. It's not just a black screen with some fucking dude speaking about the now.
That is a hassle.
It was just so weird.
Waiting to be dead.
Go back to it. There we go.
Waiting to be dead. Waiting to be dead.
Waiting to be dead. Waiting to be dead. I'm like, what if I stumbled across? Jesus Christ. Here we go.
That's the problem.
Oh.
That is
That's
not
the problem.
trusting the nowness properly.
Damn,
And what is actually experienced now possessed a lot of powerful...
I guarantee you, most of you out there, and I'm not saying this
It is
because you
so
all are
powerful.
unaware of things, but I just have a
We
feeling
can't
most of you out
face it.
there
Therefore, we
don't
have
know
to
a lot of
borrow
this,
from
what
the
this doc
past,
talks about, especially the
invite
religion stuff.
future.
And I'm not saying it's all true.
And maybe that's why we seek
But a lot of it's true.
religion. Maybe that's why we march in the street. Maybe that's why we complain to the society. Maybe that's why we vote for the presidents. It's quite ironical. Very funny indeed.
Hold on. I completely lost context of what he was fucking saying there. Hold on. He said, maybe that's why we do this. Why do we do that? What did he say? Why do we do something?
That's the problem. And that is not trusting the nowness properly. That what is actually experienced now.
No, I can't handle
possess
these subtitles. They're not. Just listen. Jesus
a
Christ,
lot
these
of
subtitles.
powerful things. It is so powerful that we can't face it. Therefore, we have to borrow from the past, invite future.
It's talking
all
about
the time.
death, the nowness.
And maybe that's why
Possibility
we
of
seek
death.
religion. Maybe that's why
Times.
we march in the street. Maybe that's why we complain to the society. Maybe that's why we vote for the presidents. It's quite ironical.
I'd have to think about what he's saying
Very
there,
funny
honestly.
indeed.
I don't get it. We'll be okay. Let's go for it. I think I get what he's saying, but I have to think about it. Fucking seance or something. No, it's not just you. Again, imagine you're in it's 2007-ish. You have no internet, or internet's somewhat new to you, really, like the actual internet, not your family-owned internet. And then you get this DVD, and you're like, what in the hell is going on? Is this an actual movie? Well, you ain't wrong about that, but it's because they fucking scrubbed everything. Can't find shit anymore. No, I said 2007. '97 was a good year, though. Damn good year. Religion is sought to answer the questions of the now with the beliefs of the past. Right. No, I think you're right. Yes. All right, for some reason this dock keeps freezing. Curious. I wonder if it's the dock itself or my internet throttling. So let's see. Go ahead and say something again. Oh, so everything's you've been saying, Annie, that no one can hear you. Because, again, I didn't have anything set up. Because the guest segments are supposed to be, like, certain parts and then the guests leave. I hadn't considered having, like, a sitting guest. Right. Not yet, anyway, since we're so early in this. And what were you just saying? I was going to address that, too. You were saying, oh, yeah, no. So a lot of these first episodes are going to be more impromptu, but I want to have things set up, like you said, like clips of docs, go over specific clips. Right. I want to... Oh, well, no, I forgot this was the fucking intro. That's why I keep saying this was so weird. This must have been even weirder back then for me. Oh, they'll be all right. Well, already his number's low right now anyway, so fuck them. Fuck them and come on in. So, yeah, the audience has not heard one word you've said this whole time. So, because if I do that, the devil all the time. Post the link, Alcatraz. I don't know about it. And the reason they can't hear your voice is I don't... Fuck. Again, we're not ready for this. There's supposed to be even a third monitor up here. Like, I was going to have it if we had a sitting guest. It would be above my head on a smaller monitor. Shut up! Let's see. I wonder if I could set that up literally right now. That ain't right. We already watched that. Hold on. I want to see if I can do this real quick. Fuck, it might be a little longer than 3 hours tonight. I didn't expect an hour-long Unabomber fucking thing. Well, I do want to keep going over different parts of this video. I'd like to go over next week. See, look at that, folks. No, it's this whole religion part. Once it gets done with this little... Let's see. It's literally in about a minute and a half that's going to start everything of the religion. It has a lot of good points. That's why I wanted you all to see it. And I kind of want you all to watch it on your own, too. For clarity, possibly. Alright, I can't make this perfect. But I'm going to try. Well, it's your fault, voice in my head. Why can't I... There we go. Like you? I'm just joking. Because I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this for you. No, not perfection. It's both, Annie. It's both. It's like It's an entertainment documentary. I don't know. It's educational and entertaining. It's a film. Yeah, like Eddie Izzard. Lizard. Hold on, folks. I'm getting it fixed. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. This should work. Maybe. Hold on, folks.
Okay.
Okay, no, see, she's over there for some reason. Okay, hold on. I want to get this fixed. I want because this will be a feature for next time. Any standing guests or co-hosts that want to come in here, and then we can also have actual guests. Give me a second. Here, I'll just keep. Yeah, no, fuck it. Just give me a second. As you all saw with the thumbnail, the show is still under construction. You got to be patient. We're still figuring it out. Thank you.
You can't do electric while it plays.
No, they won't be able to see it. Host Zoom.
Sounds like you're using a computer.
Guest. Ah, found it. CTO. CTO, baby. Middle monitor. Turn that off. And then do that the same for this one. Middle monitor. Turn that off. Let's see if I'm as smart as I think I is. Guest off. Oh yeah, because that doesn't work anymore. Guest on. Yay! There you go. Annie, say something. There she is. All right, now you all can hear. Now you all can hear the voice in my head too. Now I'm not the only one insane her. Ooh la la! What's going on, Alterator? You smuggler. How you doing? I love it. Thank you, Alcatraz. I will put
smuggling slut.
You smuggling slut. Whew. How you hanging? Yours is the trailer. Thank you, Nessie. Wait, both of y'all sent the exact same link. We're all in sync. Sending the same links. We're all in sync. But yes, we have a co-host tonight, a stand-in guest, Annie 117, up above me. Hello, Annie.
I'm not a standing guest. I'm a surprise guest.
She's a lay-in guest because she's actually laying down. She's a surprise lay-in guest. Smut, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, because you're a cat. You're Poe.
Oh, right.
All right, but tonight, Alterator, we're finally literally just getting, what is it, almost an hour and 45 minutes. Worst podcast ever. We're just getting into the actual topic at hand tonight, religion. We're going to piggyback off of some of the ideas from this documentary called Zeitgeist, the very first Zeitgeist movie. Thank you, Nessie. Let's go. Let's do it. Thank you. And it's got like another minute of a montage. It's just getting you set in the mood. It's trying to set the vibe for you. I guess. Artsy fartsy motherfuckers. 2 hours later. Maybe we need that as a command here in CTO. Sure it's gonna happen.
Give it some intermission music.
See, look. So I noticed all the 9/11 and Pentagon footage has been blurred out, probably because YouTube would ban the video if they didn't. So a lot of the blurring you're going to see here is 9/11 footage that they're not allowed to show. Which kind of diffuses the emotion they're trying to sow or reap or whatever. But this doc has been banned on YouTube a billion damn times from a billion damn people. Yeah, it's all 9/11 stuff. You know what? It's probably because they have footage in this doc that you don't officially see. Just saying. Yeah, 9/11 is part 2. I don't know why they're... Again, this whole montage at the beginning is just set up the entire doc, segueing back into religion. And then it should say, like, part 1. And that's when it really starts. So what is that? 8-minute intro? Almost? Look, it's still blurred over. So stupid here. How long is the blurring? God damn. There we go. Should be no blurring in this first part, though, I hope. I don't know why they would. Alright, let's do it, y'all. Let's get into tonight's topic. It's going to be a heavy one. Let's go hard and heavy.
The more you begin to investigate.
David Icke. For those who don't know who David Icke is, this is the man talking right now. Fucking genius. Well, he wasn't a genius. He was just very aware of his surroundings.
What we think we understand, where we came from, what we think we're doing.
But that's not David Icke. David Icke is another OG.
We've been lied to.
Who is that, Annie?
We've been lied to.
Oh, Justin has a book written by this guy. Jordan Maxwell. Yes, it says down there, voice. Jordan Maxwell. He wrote a book called Upon a Pale Horse, Beyond a Pale Horse. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Annie?
Behold a pale horse.
Behold a Pale Horse. Is it Jordan Maxwell who wrote that book, or is it David Icke?
I thought it was Peter Christian.
Who? Peter Molyneux.
Hold on.
Hope they didn't blur the audio. Yeah, really. Wait, what, Nessie? You think about the uncensored version? That is a different link. Let's see. If so, we'll just switch over to this one. Oh, Nessie, you did... Oh, look at you, girl. Yeah, that was uploaded just over a year ago. Okay, we'll pick back up on this one. Yeah, it had like war atrocities. It was showing 9/11 and war atrocities and stuff. That's so weird they blurred that out. Oh, wait. They show gore. Whoops. Yeah, okay, that's why. Yeah, I don't even think... I can't even show that. Hey, don't look at that. Don't look at people getting beheaded, shot and shit. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Just look at me. Eyes on me. Eyes on me, baby. So when I say origin of all religions, again, that was kind of clickbait. I think it's still in the title. Like, a lot of Asian religions are not connected at all to Abrahamic religions. That's a whole other fucking thing. If anything, I would probably be more akin to be aligned with an Asian religion, you know, like Taoism or something like that. But, yeah, we are not talking about Asian religion at all tonight. Huh? Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism. They're all good. They're all good isms. Those are the good isms. The good, you hear me, V? The good isms come from the Asians. I see it. Asianisms. I'm all about the Asianisms. Where's Patch?
It's all about the Asianisms.
You're an ism. I am. Insanism. No, we're going to watch this. I'm glad you found it, Nessie. Here, let me bookmark it.
Asianisms, Pentiums. Can I find those? It's all about the Asianisms.
It's all about the Pentiums, baby.
Yeah.
Finally, you all Zeitgeist. Here we go. So what was the name you said that wrote Behold a Pale Horse?
I want to say it was Krishnamurti.
Well, fuck. I'll look it up right now. Enough of this guessing. What's wrong with this? Behold a Pale... I swear to God it was Jordan Maxwell or David Icke. That's a movie. No. Milton William Cooper. William Cooper. Yeah, he was... Ooh, he got assassinated. Yeah, he got assassinated by the CIA. Like, they literally drummed him out of his house. He started shooting back because they were trying to kill his wife. There was a whole video about it. There was a whole from helicopter and on ground video, and they dragged it, and he tried to escape, and they shot him down in his car and just fucking killed him. Yeah, bro, that was a fucking OG. William Cooper, rest in peace. David Duke, not David Duke, no. David Icke, wrong David. David Icke, William Cooper, and oh God, what was the third name? I just said it. Jordan Maxwell, this guy talking. Amazing. Here, I'm going to put it, for anyone interested in this shit, Jordan Maxwell. Okay? William, and you can look up YouTube videos of these people. You can look up books. If you want to get into this rabbit hole of all these different conspiracies from people who know what they're talking about and not paid by the system, 1 second, Nessie. These are 3 names you can probably 90% you can trust into them, at least 90%. Hell, anyone could be a paid actor, whatever the fuck you want to say. But those are 3 OGs of the conspiracy game that really know their shit. They really do. So let's get to it. Not David Duke. Don't look up David. I mean, you can look him up. You won't like what you find. Your secret name now is David Duke.
The more you begin to investigate what we think we understand, where we came from, what we think we're doing, the more you begin to see we've been lied to.
Mm-hmm.
We've been lied to by every institution.
By
what
every
makes you
institution.
think for 1 minute that the religious institution is the only one that's never been touched? The religious institutions of this world are at the bottom of the dirt.
Yeah, they keep the masses at bay.
The religious institutions in this
For the
world
cattle.
are put there by the same people who gave you your government, your corrupt education, who set up your international banking cartels, because our masters don't give a damn about you or your family.
George Carlin
All
told
they
us.
care about is what they have always cared about, and that's controlling the whole damn world.
And people are like, a conspiracy couldn't
We have
go
been
farther back than
misled
maybe a few
away
decades,
from
could it?
the true and divine presence in the universe that
It
men
definitely
have
could.
called God.
Thousands
I
of years
don't
we're
know
talking
what
about.
God is, but I know what he isn't. And unless and until you are prepared to look at the whole truth, and wherever it may go, whoever it may lead to, if you want to look the other way, or if you want to play favorites, then somewhere along the line you're going to find out you're messing with divine justice. The more you educate yourself, the more you understand where things come from, the more obvious things become, and you begin to see lies everywhere. You have to know the truth and seek the truth, and the truth will set you free.
They must find it difficult. Those who have taken authority as the truth, rather than truth as the authority. G. Macy, Egyptologist. Now, some of you all have asked this during conspiracy theories during the show and stuff. Like, why is there still Egyptian symbology used in like money and government buildings and this and that and like Roman architecture and stuff? And I'll tell you right now, and this video kind of give you some clarity to that question. But
You mean hieroglyphics?
yeah, I mean, like hieroglyphics are essentially symbolism and or symbology. But just like. You know, like, why the fuck do we have Egyptian obelisks in Washington, D.C.?
Why not?
Well, you could ask that. Why not? There's a lot of other things you could put there. But they love their Egyptian bullshit out there in Washington,
They love
D.C.
a lot of shit in D.C. There's a lot of culture,
They
a
like-
lot of museums.
They like a lot of Roman. Well, ask Patch. They like a lot of Roman and Egyptian shit, very specifically. Yeah, I'm sure they have a mixture of all sorts of things, especially nowadays. But going back,
Those are like the greatest
200
civilizations,
years.
right?
That's one theme, yes. But there's another. There's another. It likes its dramatic little somethings. Segues. right,
'Cause I
whenever you
gotta
hear
tell you the
this
truth,
music,
folks. I gotta tell
that's
you the
when it
truth.
starts.
When it comes to bullshit,
Oh, George Carlin. There you go.
big time, major league bullshit, you have to stand in awe of the all-time
I remember that
champion
stand-up.
of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion. Think about it. Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I guess, yeah.
sky
Thank you, Nessie.
who watches everything you do, every minute
Doesn't
of
work in
every
here, though,
day.
but I
And the
appreciate
invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time.
But he loves you.
But he loves you.
The alterated. Good. I'm glad you know it. Yeah, dude. George Carlin was more of a philosopher, soothsayer, in my opinion, than a comedian, especially in his later years. But he loves you. Very benevolent God.
Money. He always needs money. He's all powerful, all perfect, all knowing, and all wise. Somehow, just can't handle money.
Reminds me of
Religion takes
John
in
Lee in
billions of
Genshin.
dollars.
He's a god,
They
but he doesn't
pay
understand
no
money.
Taxes, and they always need a little more. Now,
Although
you
in that
talk
context,
about
that
a
makes
good
sense.
bullshit story. Holy shit.
Holy shit. So there is a narrator in this. It uses a lot. There you go, part one. It uses a lot of different forms of media, audio, video, but there is an actual overarching narrator to keep it going. The greatest story ever told. All right. Finally, 2 hours into the stream, we can get into this. Yeehaw! That references back to what I was talking about earlier. Right, Nessie? Fee, I don't want to drink during my podcast, but maybe I should. I don't know. I don't want to be too loosey-goosey, but maybe I should.
This is the sun.
All right, here we go.
As far
Here
back
we go.
as
Listen, it's
10,000
so fun.
BC, history is abundant with carvings and writings reflecting people's respect and adoration for
Okay,
this
can we get
object.
some hearts in chat? Thank you.
And it
Please,
is simple
lots
to
of love.
understand why, as every morning the sun would rise, bringing vision, warmth, and security, saving man from the cold.
These
blind,
closed captions are
predator-filled
AI
darkness of
too.
night.
Ugh.
Without it, the culture's understood. The
need
crops
more
would not
of
grow, and life on the planet would not survive.
All right, why is he talking
These
about the sun?
realities made the sun the most adored object of all time. Likewise, they were also very aware of the stars. The tracking of the stars allowed them to recognize and
Talking about,
anticipate
like, the first
events
humans,
which occurred over
supposedly.
long periods of time, such as eclipses and full moons. They in turn cataloged celestial groups into what we know today as constellations. This is the cross of the zodiac, one of the oldest conceptual images in human history. It reflects the sun as it figuratively passes through the 12 major constellations over the course of a year. It also reflects the 12 months of the year, the 4 seasons, and the solstices and equinoxes.
Pretty advanced.
The
I
term
will say, for
zodiac relates
one of
to
our
the fact
first
that
human
constellations
inventions.
were anthropomorphized, or personified as figures or animals. In other words, the early civilizations did not just follow the sun and stars, they personified them with elaborate myths involving their movements and relationships. The sun, with its life-giving and saving qualities, was personified as a representative of
Wait
the
a fucking
unseen
minute.
creator.
Hold on. So hold on. This could just be a coincidence, but let me go over what I just thought, and that's what we're here for. Okay, so you know the stereotype of cartoons, fucking the Flintstones, whatever, any cartoons, any media really, of like caveman's first real invention was fire, which that's not an invention. They got fire, they figured it out, but their first real invention was the wheel. You know what they say? The wheel. Their first invention was the wheel. You see what I'm saying? It's a fucking wheel. Okay? And obviously this is not what this might be similar to what cavemen were drawing. But he was talking about 10,000 years ago. This was the first conceptualized symbol that was like everywhere. All around the
first
world.
invention was sliced bread.
Oh man. Wait, what? Hold on. What's going on in chat there? What's going on here? Put it back in your pants. What if I ain't wearing any? Yeah, I mean, you all can't see under my desk either, so. It's just a
Put it back in your
circle.
pants anyway.
Is
You
it
don't
just
have
a
to
circle,
stand
though?
on you.
But the stereotype is that cavemen were so stupid they couldn't understand the concept of a wheel and how a wheel could be used in reality, like on a wagon or other fucking things. You know, like the stereotype and parody is they use square wheels or whatever. You know,
They
Flintstones
lack
edition.
an understanding of basic physics.
Right. But then, according to this doc, when the first conceptualized symbols all around the world that was kind of unified, even with distinct different cultures, was this sort of zodiac, seasonal-based wheel. Do you see what I'm saying now? It's not just a wheel.
It's a calendar.
It's a sphere. Yeah, it's a calendar. A calendar requires math. So you tell me cavemen first coming out of the caves and their first invention was math-based? Huh, that's a little weird, but I don't want to go into that right now. We can't talk about cavemen. The whole caveman thing is fucking bullshit pushed by the Smithsonian, but that's a... Yeah, let's go
They
back to the...
invented it. That doesn't mean they understood the math behind it when they invented the wheel.
How can you invent something you don't understand?
They invented the wheel, but they didn't learn about how it...
I think it's an
lessons
allegory.
Jules
All right.
needed to do more work.
No, it's an allegory. You all are taking it too literal. You and V are taking it too literal. Everything, even like Awen was saying, everything in the Bible is an allegory, like Aesop's fable. The whole
you said they would
caveman
have to
invented the
know-
wheel is an allegory for math and understanding of physics. In my opinion, at least that's the thought I had. I'm not saying it's true. Nothing we say on this is true. It's all supposition and critical thinking.
They don't have to understand the math to invent it. They
Yes, you
invented
do.
the thing that works. They didn't learn about pi and how the circumference
I'm
of
not
the
talking
circle. The math.
So I am going to have to disagree with you there. I don't think you can invent something if you don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. That's like the steps. The logical steps
You
would
have
be...
to know what you're
think of-
trying to invent. You just invent something. You don't really understand it. You study it, and you learn about it.
You're putting too much emphasis on the word invention for this. I'm talking about an allegory, a story, symbolism. I'm not talking about an actual wheel. I'm saying the stereotype is they... Never mind. We're talking about two different things. Or the same thing in two different ways. Hold on. What do you
Okay.
got there, Addie? The Gospel of Noth. Yeah, I've never read that. And like the four strange creatures of Ezekiel and of John, Isaiah and Daniel. Fucking A. That's one of the reasons I hate reading the Bible. Too many fucking names. Behold a wheel there upon the earth. Okay, hold up. Behold a wheel there upon the earth by the living creatures. And of course, that could be referring to the zodiac signs. Interesting. And they four had one likeness. And they four had one... I'm not going to go... And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Huh. Interesting. A wheel in the middle of a wheel. The rings of the wheel were dreadful and full of eyes around them for... Oh, that's talking about an angel, isn't it? Addie. I think that was trying to talk about the visualization of an angel, but regardless of that, what the fuck is an angel? It's not a wheel, it's a rock. The wheel was invented by the 4th millennium BC in Lower Mesopotamia, where the Sumerian people, right? Sumerians is an old-ass civilization most people don't talk about. Most people know them as like the first, but they certainly wasn't the first. Rotating axles into solid discs of wood. It was only in 2000 BC that the discs began to be hollowed out to make a lighter wheel. Huh. So what? Hold up. So that was what, 9,000 years ago? Oh, I'm getting some echo on your end. Annie.
Is that when they invented spokes?
Well, it said in the very beginning they inserted rotating axles into solid discs of wood. So is that like the Flintstones car? Is that what I'm hearing?
But then they hollowed out the wheel.
Right,
like,
and they hollowed out to make it lighter.
In a bicycle wheel.
Right. Yeah. So it was solid wheels. So the Flintstones almost had it correct. Shit. But isn't that weird though? Like, I don't know. That's a whole other topic. We're trying to let's stay on topic, and that's also what we're trying to do, folks, with these earlier episodes. Since we all have a tendency to rant and get off topic or get into a topic a little too much, we want to try to keep it succinct. I hear an echo still, and you're in Annie. Annie, you're the one going back and forth to the.
Sorry, I was watching on the TV.
It's a wheel. It's a wheel within a wheel. Thousands of eyes. Do the meth. Okay.
Constellations over the course of a year. It also reflects.
Yeah, I know, V. I was going off topic. I'm sorry. Remember, alert. The alert sound effect is to get me back on track. Like, shut the fuck. It's kind of like the shut the hell up command or channel point thing.
12 months of
It's
the
hard
year,
to keep
the
you
four
on track
seasons,
when
and the
I have no
solstices
idea where
and
you're going.
equinoxes.
You don't need to know where I'm going. You need to be in the
Well,
now.
how can I point you back on track?
No, you need to
if
be in
I
the now.
know what you meant?
No, we're all in the now. We're not trying to figure out where we're going just yet. We're just in the now.
Then how do you know if you're on track or not?
That comes later.
The term
We can worry about that
zodiac
later.
relates to the fact that constellations were anthropomorphized.
You have to
or
get deep into
personified
a
as
certain
figures or animals.
subsection to truly understand it.
In
before
other
you can
words,
move on
the
to
early
next.
civilizations
Can't
did not
skim
just
over
follow the
anything.
sun and stars, they personified them with elaborate myths involving their movements and relationships. The sun, with its life-giving and saving qualities, was personified as a representative of the unseen
Personification
creator
is
or
a
God.
huge
God's
thing
son,
in
the
religion.
light of the world, the savior
Fucking
of
personify
humankind.
everything.
Likewise, the 12 constellations represented places of travel for God's Son, and were identified by names, usually representing elements of nature that
God's
happened
Son.
during that period of time. For example, Aquarius, the water bearer, who brings the spring rains.
Why is that altering?
This is Horus. He is the sun god of Egypt of around
Right.
3000 BC.
Really pay attention to this stuff in here. And like, this part of the doc only has like 20 minutes left, but this part here is really astounding. And there are docs out there that like try to bash this doc. They're like, "Oh, this is untrue," but they don't really. Most of the ones I've seen, they're trying to make this into a fake doc. They're like, they don't really prove anything. I don't know. That's a whole other fucking thing.
He is the sun, anthropomorphized.
I can see
and his
the
life
sun.
is a series of allegorical myths involving the sun's movement in the sky. From the ancient hieroglyphics in Egypt, we know
There you go.
much about this solar messiah. For instance, Horus, being the sun or the light, had an enemy known as Set, and Set was the personification of the darkness or night. And metaphorically
Interesting.
speaking, every morning Horus would win the battle against Set, while in the evening Set
That's
would
like the
conquer Horus
TNG episode,
and send
The
him
Masks.
into the underworld. It is important to note that dark versus light, or good versus evil, is one of
Masaga,
the most
or
ubiquitous
Masaka.
mythological
Masaka.
dualities ever known, and is still expressed on many levels to this day.
So, Horus versus Set. All right. Gotcha. Let's see. What else you
Broadly
got?
speaking, the story of Horus is as follows. Horus was born on December 25th of the Virgin Isis Mary. His birth was accompanied by a star in the east, which, in turn, 3 kings followed to locate and adore the newborn savior. At the age of 12, he was a prodigal child teacher, and at the age of 30, he was baptized by a figure known as Anup, and thus began his ministry. Horus had 12 disciples he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick and walking on water. Horus was known by many gestural names such as the Truth, the Light, God's Anointed Son, the Good Shepherd, the Lamb of God, and many others.
Yeah.
After being betrayed
Some
by
of those don't
Typhon,
know about
Horus
this.
was
So if you
crucified.
actually go look at documentation within Smithsonian peer-reviewed studies, archaeology findings, he's summing up Horus. It's not verbatim what he's saying. That's why they're kind of doing a little list, and sometimes they're doing quotes. It's not verbatim and it's not exact. But if you were to sum it up for someone, it's basically the same as someone else we know.
buried for 3 days, and thus resurrected.
All the points are there. All the fuck
These
the
attributes of
details when it
Horus,
comes to
whether
something like
original
this.
or
Look for
not,
the big points,
seem
big
to permeate
connections.
many cultures of the world, for many other gods are found to have the same general mythological structure. Attis of Phrygia, born of the Virgin Nana on December 25th,
Born to a
crucified,
virgin.
placed in a
Huh.
tomb, and after
Seems
3
to happen a
days
lot back
was
then.
resurrected. Krishna of India, born of the Virgin Devaki, with a star in the east signaling his coming. He performed miracles with his disciples, and
That or
upon
they
his
just
death,
talked
was
about it a lot
resurrected.
back then.
Talked about what?
Dionysius of Greece, born of a virgin on December 25th, was a traveling teacher who performed miracles such as turning
forgot what I
water
said.
into wine. He was referred to as the King of Kings, God's only begotten Son, the Alpha and Omega, and many others. And upon his death, he was resurrected. Mithra of Persia, born of a virgin on December 25th.
Looks like a game of
He
telephone.
had 12
you know?
disciples and performed miracles, and upon his death was buried for 3 days and thus resurrected. He was also referred to as the Truth, the Light, and many others. Interestingly, the sacred day
Y'all
of
seen a
worship of
connection here
Mithra
so far?
was Sunday.
Oh my God, Alterator.
The fact of the matter is, there are numerous saviors from
I got
different
DMC5
periods from all over
here
the
recently.
world
I've never
which
played it. I'm gonna
subscribe
have to
to
stream
these
it.
general characteristics. The question remains, why these attributes? Why the virgin birth on December 25th? Why dead for 3 days in the inevitable resurrection? Why 12 disciples or followers? To find out.
Okay, let's just go over that real quick. So all of these different entities, different figureheads, different people throughout different religions, throughout thousands of years, all seem on occasion to share the same attributes, especially the points he's bringing up here. They were all, a lot of them born the same day, most of them born to a virgin, something about an East Star, the Three Kings. You get these same theming throughout all these different cultures.
They're archetypes.
Yeah, definitely archetypes. Caricature of something, perhaps a personification or an allegory of something else that they all share. Keep in mind, people were traveling different countries back then at the speed we do today. Weren't. Right, that too. Yeah. All right, interesting. Let's go forward.
Now, let's examine the most recent of the solar messiahs. Jesus Christ was born of the Virgin Mary on December 25th in Bethlehem. His birth was announced by a star in the east, which 3 kings or magi followed to locate and adorn the new Savior. He was a child teacher at 12, and at the age of 30 he was baptized by John the Baptist, and thus began his ministry. Jesus had 12 disciples, which he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick, walking on water, raising the dead. He was also known as the King of Kings, the Son of God, the Light of the World, the Alpha and Omega, the Lamb of God, and many, many others. After being betrayed by his disciple Judas and sold for 30 pieces of silver, he was crucified, placed in a tomb, and after 3 days was resurrected and ascended into heaven. First of all, the birth sequence.
Almost as if he's the story of Jesus Christ, of his life, whoever this Isa, he's got many names. It's almost as if he was an amalgamation of all the different figureheads that came before him. Because some of them didn't have some of the titles he did, but he seems to have all the fucking titles. So it's like they just condensed history into one person.
Yeah, his story is an amalgamation, probably of many.
Right. So I truly don't believe he was an actual person. And if he was, I think they tied in a lot of things to this person.
Hey.
Okay, if we have, again, you cannot come in CTO live set unless you are a guest or standing guest. So if you can, and hello, Addie. If you can, mute yourself if you are not, you bastard. Addie, you knew the rule. Come back here, punk. You can be in here, just be on mute. Addie likes to pretend he doesn't remember the rules. The netbooks froze, installing updates. Well, it's old shit. But yeah, it's just so. Let's continue. Let's not stop.
It's completely astrological.
So he's talking. Okay. No, this is very important. This is the most important part of this section, in my opinion. This guy, this organization, whoever made this video, they try to give a reason as to why all these different characters, Alcatraz, why all these different characters have the same attributes. Addie, you can talk during regular random streams and other shit, but there's rules for certain things to keep a certain momentum, all right? Because you do like to go off track on occasion. We don't have an alert button for you. But, okay, keep that in mind. So they're going to try to connect all these attributes to something cosmological. Okay, let's see if they can do it. Exactly.
First of all, the birth sequence is...
So, in a nutshell, V... All these different names, all these different figureheads. They've said born of a virgin, born around December 25th, was born with a star in the east, 12 disciples, performed miracles, dead for 3 days, resurrected. So this documentary in this part is going to, or will, connect all these different attributes to a very simple cosmological scenario that we are privy to every year of our life. It's right under your nose. Like I say, they like to hide things right under your fucking nose. Now, all this could be just bullshit, but it really makes you think, and it's more than coincidence, I feel. It is the one about Addie. So the Noth Gospel. Well, hold on. We're trying to figure out the origins here. I have no problem reading Proverbs or any of that shit in later streams, or maybe after we get done with this part of the doc. But let's stay focused first. Stay focused. This is very important. It's very important. Let's go. Go.
Completely astrological. The star in the east is Sirius, the brightest star in the
Possibly,
night sky,
Nessie.
which on December 24th aligns with the 3 brightest stars in Orion's belt. These 3 bright stars in Orion's belt are called today what they were called in ancient times, the 3 kings. And the 3 kings and the brightest star, Sirius, all point to the place of the sunrise on December 25th. This is why the 3 kings follow the star in the east, in order to locate the sunrise.
Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity. What do y'all think about that? It couldn't have made it any more fucking simpler. And you could probably look that up and verify what he's talking about. December 24th. Sirius, the star in the east. Possibly, what galaxy is that from? Anyway. Aligns with the 3 kings, the belt of Orion, to point where the sun will rise on December 25th.
Hey, Sirius? Santa Claus?
Sirius?
December?
Santa Claus, December? Snakes. Snake people. Oh my god. Anyway. I feel like I'm in school right now, watching a video. Something is said important. Teacher pauses, rants for 5 minutes. Well, yeah, okay. You want to just watch the video? Well, fuck you then. Here we go. We're just going to watch the video. There's just a lot. There's a lot to take in this little fucking part here. I apologize.
Bruh, y'all can all access all these videos anytime you want.
Please
The
access
Virgin Mary
these
is the
vids.
constellation Virgo.
Please watch it
also known
on your
as
own
Virgo
as well when
Virgin.
you can.
Virgo in Latin means virgin.
All right, back to the video.
Virgo is also referred to as the house of bread, and the representation of Virgo is a virgin holding a sheaf of wheat. This house of bread and its symbol of wheat represents August and September, the time of harvest. In turn, Bethlehem, in fact, literally translates to house of bread. Bethlehem is thus a reference to the constellation Virgo, a place in the sky, not on Earth. There's another very interesting phenomenon that occurs around December 25th, or the winter solstice. From the summer solstice to the winter solstice, the days become shorter and colder. And
I like when teachers have some. Hold on, Alcatraz. Are you saying you don't like when teachers rant? Do you just want to watch a video? I like when my teachers actually rant and have something to say. Like, what was that fucking history teacher? History.
Roberts.
Yep, Mr. Roberts. That motherfucker was a Vietnam vet. He had some crazy ass stories, and I loved when he ranted because it was like real. It felt real instead of just watching a mock video. Like, you want a teacher who just sits there and plays videos all day? That's boring as hell. And maybe if you do.
Yeah, he didn't just.
Well, I don't like school either.
He didn't just shovel information onto you. He taught.
Yeah, no, he was very good. I was trying to think of his name the other day on stream. Yeah, Mr. Roberts. Because I was saying the other day that most people don't like history class because the teachers are fucking boring and history is very complicated and it's full of a lot of names of places, names of people. You know, it's a lot of like terminology and right. So it's like and you gotta put some sort of humanism into it, or you know what I mean. And Mr. Roberts, you know, he lived through a war, so at least had something to attribute to what he was talking about. Because he liked to talk about wars.
Yeah, he had been to other places in the world, and so could teach more about their history.
Right. Instead of
having actually experienced.
Yeah. So I think I know what you're saying now, Alcatraz. I'd rather have a teacher who rants from their soul and not from a book. So I guess there you go. That'd be the perfect teacher that rants from experience, from the soul, but also uses media.
There's probably a better word for that than rant. That includes everything else.
Lectures, the way they lecture us. Rants imply dedication. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Huh?
Rants imply negative emotions.
Right. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
To move
Yeah, I
south
guess it does.
and get
It has that
smaller
sort
and more
of
scarce. The
connotation.
shortening of the days and the expiration of the crops
I
when
like
approaching the
ranting.
winter solstice symbolize the
Especially
process
about
of
negative
love
things.
to the
ranting.
ancients. It
That's
was
your
the death of
favorite
the
fucking
sun.
thing to do.
Oh shit. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back, folks. He says so much in such a small amount of time here, and it's all clear cut and dry. He doesn't. It's all very succinct.
25th, or
Doesn't
the winter
fluff it.
solstice. From the
Right,
summer
right.
My bad,
solstice
I'll
to the
shut up.
winter solstice, the days become shorter and colder. And from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, the sun appears to move south and get smaller and more scarce. The shortening of the days and the expiration of the crops when approaching the winter solstice symbolize the process of death to the ancients.
All right.
It was the death of the sun.
So the
And by
lowest
December 22nd,
on the
sun's
horizon.
demise was fully realized.
On December
The sun,
22nd.
having moved south continually for 6 months, makes it to its lowest point in the sky. Here a curious thing occurs. The sun stops moving south, at least perceivably.
The sun stops
for 3
moving
days.
south for 3
And during
days.
this 3-day pause, the sun resides in the vicinity of the Southern Cross, or Crux, constellation. And after this time, on December 25th, the sun moves 1 degree, this time north, foreshadowing longer days,
As if it's
warmth,
rising
and
from the
spring.
dead.
And thus it was said,
Oh my god.
the sun died on the cross.
When I first saw this,
was
I had
dead for
cold
3
chills,
days,
blew my fucking
only to be
mind. I had
resurrected or born again.
yeah. 'Cause, you know, who knows
This
about
is why Jesus
fucking
and
constellations
numerous
and
other
stuff.
sun
Not a lot of
gods
people.
share the crucifixion, 3-day death, and resurrection concept.
cosmology?
It is the sun's transition period
Cosmologicology?
before it shifts its direction back into the
Cosmologist?
northern hemisphere, bringing spring and thus salvation. However, they did not celebrate the resurrection of the sun until the spring equinox, or Easter. This is because at the spring equinox, the sun officially overpowers the evil darkness, as daytime thereafter becomes longer in duration than the night, and the revitalizing conditions of spring emerge. Now, probably the most obvious of all the astrological symbolism around Jesus regards the 12 disciples. They are simply the 12 constellations of the
disciples, right.
zodiac.
We're moving on
which
now.
Jesus, being the
So-
sun, travels about.
He says it so fast and so simple. So what he's saying is there that the first few attributes about, you know, dying, resurrecting, and all that, it's just all allegory and symbolism for the fucking sun. Paganism is another way to put it. It's like they took paganism and Judaism, combined them, and went forward. It's like that's what they did. And then the 12, and then it's going to go in the whole, why always 12 disciples? Why? Well,
12 disciples, 12 months in the year, 12 hours on the clock.
12 zodiac symbols or
Yep, months
constellations.
in the year.
Yep. 12. There's probably some, God, I can't even think of the term now. I haven't studied that shit in forever. Sacred geometry. There's probably a lot of sacred geometry mathematics within the number 12. That's a whole other fucking episode, though. We ain't gonna talk about that.
In fact, the
We
number
don't care about
12
12, we
is
like
replete throughout the
primes.
Bible.
There you go. And look, and I've talked about the 12 tribes before. We got 12 tribes of Israel, 12 brothers of Joseph, 12 judges of Israel, 12 great patriarchs, 12 OT prophets. I don't know what that is. 12 kings of Israel, 12 princes of Israel. Israel.
Isn't that like
the cross of the
how
zodiac, the
the
figurative
British
life.
metric system, or the metric system versus the English system, or whatever it is that we use? And there's 12 inches in a foot.
12 inches in a foot. Something about 12. There's something about it.
That puts it on par with metric using 10 base 10,
Right.
which is like, you know, that's just logic.
Is it?
Of the sun. This was not just an artistic expression or tool to track the sun's movement. It was also a pagan spiritual symbol, the shorthand of which looked like this.
Huh.
This is not a symbol of Christianity.
Nope.
It is a pagan adaptation of the cross of the zodiac.
Yep.
Them's is Viking shit.
Symbolism, that's going to be a crazy episode whenever we go into that a little bit. That's you have symbols all around you and you have no idea what they
This
mean.
is why Jesus and early occult art
Dude,
are
we
always
should be
shown
doing
with his head on the
symbolism.
cross. For Jesus is
Greek
the sun.
symbolism?
the Son of God.
dream
Oh yeah.
symbolism.
Dream interpretation. That'd be fun. So again, this guy he spells it out for you as simple as day. Let's see. Here's the allegory personified.
Jesus is the Son of God, the light of the world, the risen Savior, who will come again, as it does every morning. The glory of God, who defends against the works of darkness, as he is
comes every
born
morning.
again every morning, and can be seen coming in the clouds, up in heaven, with his crown of thorns sun rays.
Oh my God. This is where I need some of my effects. Dun dun dun. I don't have that though.
Now, of the many astronomical metaphors in the Bible, one of the most important has to do with the ages. Throughout the scriptures, there are numerous references to the age. In order to understand this, we need to be familiar with a phenomenon known as the precession of the equinoxes. The ancient Egyptians, along with cultures long before them, recognized that approximately every 2150 years, the sunrise on the morning of the spring equinox would occur in a different sign of the zodiac. This has to do with a slow,
ages. No, this is
angular
very
wobble
important because
that
we've
the
come
Earth
into a new
maintains
age.
as it rotates on its
20
axis.
So get this shit. 2012, they say the Mayan calendar ended the world, but within other cultures, that was the end of an age. That was the end of the Pisces, the age of Pisces, the age of Jesus, because Jesus is seen as a fish. You see fishes on the back of people's cars, right? Jesus is symbolized as a fish, but that's literally because you'll see in just a second. It's wild. But we're in a new age. We're in the age of fucking Aquarius. My fucking age. Bow down, Scorpios. Do it now. I know most of you are Scorpios out there. And this is the age of abundance. This is the age of decadence, abundance, and destruction. So thank you. You are welcome. Thank you.
Why just Scorpios?
Because there's a lot of Scorpios in here. I just said that.
Well, you just bow down Scorpios.
Well, especially
Down
Scorpios. Everyone and
everybody
Scorpios
else.
especially, yes. Okay, but all right. So I would love to talk about that again, what they were talking about, the cosmological metaphor with Jesus Christ rising and stuff. It's crazy, and it's so important. But let's move into this next topic of ages. This just adds and compounds to what we just learned.
How the fuck could a scorpion bow? Think
It's
about
called a
that.
precession because the constellations go backwards rather than through the
very
normal yearly
Sorry,
cycle.
stomach thoughts.
The amount of time it takes for the precession to go through all 12 signs is roughly
So every 20 or roughly 2100 years, we go into a
25,765
different
years.
zodiac
This
age
is
based
also
on a certain
called the
cosmological
Great Year.
event that happens every time.
And ancient societies were very aware of this.
It's
and
not
they
an
referred
event,
to
it's
each
the position of
2150-year period
the
as an
heavenly
age.
body.
Don't
in the
nitpick
cosmos.
my word. Don't
From
do that.
4300 BC to
I was just
2150
adding more
BC, it was the
information.
age of Taurus, the bull. From 2150 BC to 1 AD, it was the age of Aries, the ram. And from
There you
1
go,
AD
there you go,
to
Alternator.
2150
There was your
AD,
age. Your age
it
is
was
long
the age of
past.
Pisces, the age we are still in to this day.
And notice with Pisces, it's always two fish. Keep that in mind. It's all fucking metaphor. It's insane. It really is.
In around 2150, we will enter the new age, the
Why is
age of
Pisces always two
Aquarius.
fish?
Huh?
Now, the
Why?
Bible
That means
reflects,
that it's
broadly
always
speaking,
two.
Huh?
In what way is Pisces
It's
quote,
two fish.
always two fish?
It's always two fish. The symbolism. Like, it's two fish. Not three, not one, two. That's what I mean. No? Okay.
a symbolic movement through 3 ages while foreshadowing a fourth.
I'm
In the Old
checking.
Testament, when Moses comes down Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments, he is very upset to see his people worshiping a golden bull calf.
A golden bull calf. Now, they don't go into Judaism in this fucking part, which kills me because we're missing a huge chunk of stuff. But they're trying to go into allegories, connecting it to cosmological stuff. But the golden bull head is an old Hebrew Judaic symbol for Baphomet or Baal or Lucifer. Because if you all didn't know, spoiler alert, most Jews worship Lucifer. That's why they can't say the name of God, because they'll get in trouble. And that's the truth. Sorry.
fact, he shattered the stone tablets and instructed
Sorry.
his people to kill each other in order to purify themselves.
You are
Most
correct.
biblical
It is too
scholars will
big.
attribute
It
this
is,
anger
and
to
this will tell why, and it makes so much sense. It's crazy.
the fact that the Israelites were worshiping a false idol or something to that effect.
A false.
The reality is,
So, according to that story, the Jews of the time, the Israelites, were worshiping a false idol, Lucifer. Lucifer was a false idol because there are others that believe there was a god above that. That's Gnosticism. That's about Braxis. I'm not going to go into all Gnosticism. That's just a whole other fucking thing. But anyway, it's so crazy.
bull is Taurus the bull, and
Not
Moses
Gnosticism that you
represents the
just
new
believe
age of
there
Aries
is a
the
God.
ram. This
Right.
is why Jews even
To
today
sum that
still
up,
blow
yeah.
the ram's horn.
It's more
Moses
spiritual based than
represents
religion
the new
based.
age of Aries.
You'll see many Gnostic
and upon
churches
the new
around.
age, everyone must shed the old age.
Yeah, I don't know how they.
Other
practice.
deities
I
mark
just
these transitions
thought-
as well,
I just know the
such as
definition
Mithra,
of the word.
a pre-
Look at Nessie over there. Nessie says that is the sin, or she guesses, that caused the Jews to be cast out and their sin to bear. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. That their original sin was they were worshiping the false god, Lucifer, the demiurge, not the monad. The monad is Braxis. See, most people don't know about Gnosticism. I can't really talk about it because it wouldn't make any sense. But not because you're all stupid. It's just it's rough. It's complicated. I don't even understand it mostly. But yeah. So the
Have you never watched Charleston Heston's The Ten Commandments? Where they're
It's been
all
so
dancing
long.
around the golden calf, and then they're cast out into the desert for doing it for
It's been
40
a long.
years.
I probably have not watched it
Moses
since Sunday
leads them out.
school. No, it's been a long time. I remember
Well,
though.
You shouldn't have just put that shit together because that's history.
So Aowen's just basically saying that like there was a god before the Israelites' god, and that's what cast them out. Is her guess, and that could be because they don't really talk. That's the thing. You know, the Jews sinned. They're the chosen people, but they sinned. They must redeem themselves. But you never hear too much about the sin that they did, and that's probably right. You got a good point
I
there.
thought the sin that they did was to kill Jesus.
No, because they were cast out a long time ago. Hell, they were getting fucked by the Egyptians before Jesus, and that was part of their.
Oh, not the original sin back in the day, but like why they were persecuted nowadays.
No, that's a
the
whole
sin
no.
of having killed Christ.
That's a whole different. No, that's what they fucking say. That's what the ADL says. No, that's just
Well,
bullshit.
Like,
Because most Christians and Catholics are trained to love Jews. Because even in the Bible, James version, the King James version, it even says Jews are the chosen people. And what does that mean for everyone else that follows that faith? Huh? So they're always favored. Of course, they're always going to be favored.
Justin says that God's true people are people with Down syndrome. Those are God's chosen people.
That's horrible.
He says they're the most good and true and honest and pure people in the world. And they are God's chosen people.
I mean, you never know. You never know. The Romans killed Jesus, not the Jews. Well, Eowyn, that's up for debate. It wasn't the Romans. The Romans were
There
around.
ain't no Jews in Rome?
Yeah, that's up for debate. That's the story anyway. Yeah, Nessie. It's basically all godheads are based on the sun. That's literally it. Okay, what's another god that's based on the light bringer? Come on, Anne. What god goes Lucifer?
Morning Star?
Morning Star. Y'all get it now? No Romans and Jews. What? Y'all get it now? Did y'all hear what I just said? I think the narrative of so and so are the best. Just creator bias, writer bias. So like the King James version is definitely writer biased. They threw out a shit ton of stuff, and those later found known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. They're like, well, we kind of just threw out these parts we didn't want. But what did I just say? I just said something mind blowing. Blew my own mind. For 2,000 years, the Jews have been falsely blamed for the murder of Jesus. This charge of deicide is the oldest and most damaging and pernicious of all blood libels. Let's go to chat over there. Spread to provoke hatred and killing of innocent Jews by Christians through the ages. Wait, spread? Oh, God. But a careful reading of the Christian Bible, the New Testament shows it was not the Jews, but the Romans who killed Jesus. Indeed, Jesus, his family, disciples, followers, and supporters were Jews, and they, like him, were. Yeah. Were the victims of the Romans.
Come in?
Well, okay. Hold on. Let me set up a question here, and I feel like it's the same line of thought. Who kills a murderer? The judge or the man that throws the switch?
Whoever picks up a gun and shoots him, kill. What do you mean, like who kills?
Come on, you know what I'm saying.
Murderer at a
no, you know what I'm. It's
an execution.
Okay, let me make it easier for you. Who kills someone, the person or the gun?
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Can't say who kills. Say a gun is a who.
No semantics. No semantics, please. Just answer the question. You cannot be a guest if you won't answer my questions. I'm the host. Specific Jews turned Jesus into the Romans for being... Wait. Yes. Nessie's got it. Nessie guessed it. That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you, Nessie.
What'd she say?
Specific Jews turned Jesus into the Romans for being a false Jew. It wasn't just Judah. It was a lot of them. They turned him over.
Judas.
Because he was trying to get people to believe a different religion that was going on at the time. That's what it was over. If the Romans killed him, it was because he was spreading a different ideology in religion in a place.
Okay, so the Jews didn't kill him; they just betrayed him, and which led to his death.
Right. So, like another metaphor is like, who kills someone? The person who hires the hitman or the hitman? You know what I mean? So, like the Romans were a vehicle to kill him,
but they were responsible for his killing.
There you go. Absolutely, so that's a good way to put it.
Either depends on how you look at it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to put. So it's like it could be the Jews. Not really, but it is, but it isn't really. It just depends on how you look at it. It's more akin to sheep leadership power. They were told this is right, so now everyone follows and knows that this is right. Right. Yeah. Compliance. Because if you didn't comply back in the day with the religion, you died. There was no, I'm going to go to a different church over here. There was, you die. Or your family gets cast out.
Comply with whatever the authority was.
Nephilims, that's interesting. Yeah, giants in the Bible and stuff. Giants, we're going to talk about giants one whole episode. Giants is a crazy thing. I am highly certain that giant people existed not too long ago. And I'm not talking about like skyscraper building people. I'm talking about like people like Nate. Like Nate's size were the smallest of the giants. Thank you, Nessie. Yeah, let's move on. But like,
motherfucker ain't a giant.
I believe people were at least up to 10 or at most 10, 12 feet tall.
The Christian God who kills the bull in the same symbology. Now Jesus is the figure who ushers in the age.
We're talking about ages here, so
the age of Pisces.
There we go. Look, look. So remember, and we're gonna bring this up too. I always ask the question: who made the decision to make us go from BC to AD? Were people literally in BC counting down to 0 and then restarted? And the simple answer is no, they weren't. So who instituted that? When did that happen? Well, if you see right here, the age of Pisces starts in 1 AD. To 2150 AD, roughly 2150 AD. So again, just kind of giving answers to why we do things a certain way, talking about like the 12 months again, stuff like that.
Fish symbolism is very abundant in the New Testament.
Like way
Jesus
later.
feeds
like
5,000
way
bread
we called it that.
and 2 fish.
Well, you all know that
not at the moment.
Orthodox Jews have a different calendar than us, and to them it's like the year 3000 something. It's in the higher 4005. I don't know, but they don't follow our whatever calendar.
Don't the Scientologists kind of go with that too?
Maybe that'd be interesting. What you got there, Godzilla? All right, hold on. But yeah, just more etymology is such an important thing to look into. The origins of something, like I say. When you look at celebrities, look into their parents first to see who they really are or where they come from.
Etymology, the origin of languages and words and...
Well, it can be used in the context of just origins typically.
Okay. I did not know.
If you doubt me, look it up. Here, look. The origin and historical development, now you're right, of a linguistic form is shown by determining its basic elements, earliest known usage, and changes in form and meaning. Well, I guess in this context, we're talking about the etymology of symbols, but symbols is a sort of language.
Right.
So yeah, I guess I'm
Right,
loosely
but
using that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also says the third definition is, well, y'all can't see it. Why can't you all see that? The part of philosophy that treats of history. That part of what the fuck is philology? Philology. What the fuck is philology? Anyway, moving on. Sorry. Yeah, but I'm using that term loosely. So for those that actually are grammar Nazis and definition Nazis, etymology is mostly about linguistics.
I'm just an understanding Nazi.
It's understandable. Yeah, the current Hebrew year is 5700. And imagine most Smithsonians, Darwinism, everything always spouts that, and even like hardcore Christians, like the ones at the fucking Noah's Ark Museum, they think everything started 6,000 years ago. And that can be interpreted like the world, civilization, written history. But for some reason, they all say around 6,000 years. And now you know the etymology of why. Because everything's run by Jews. Oh, what? Hold on. Go back to the video.
When he begins his
we only have. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna let you all watch it a little bit before I stop again. There's just so much to say. Too much to say.
The age following Aries.
Yeah, the ones who write the history, are the victors always good guys, though?
Fish symbolism is very abundant in the New Testament.
Thank you, Nick.
Jesus feeds 5,000 people with bread and 2 fish.
2 fish.
When he begins his ministry walking along Galilee, he befriends 2 fishermen who follow him.
2 fishermen.
And I think we have all seen the Jesus fish on the back of people's cars.
Yep, there's the fish,
Little
carfish.
do they know what it actually means.
What does it mean? Tell us.
It is a pagan astrological symbolism for the sun's kingdom during the age of Pisces. Also, Jesus' assumed birth date is essentially the start of this age. At Luke 22:10, when Jesus is asked by his disciples where the next Passover will be after
Addy,
he
you'll
is
probably
gone,
like this part, talking about passages
Jesus
and
replies,
Proverbs.
Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entereth in. This scripture is by far one of the most revealing of all the astrological references. The man bearing the pitcher of water is Aquarius, the water bearer, who is always pictured as a man pouring out a pitcher of water. He represents the age after Pisces, and when the sun, God's sun, leaves the age of Pisces, Jesus, it will go into the house of Aquarius, as Aquarius follows Pisces in the precession of the equinoxes. All Jesus is saying is that after the age of Pisces will come the age of Aquarius.
Addy. Gunga din.
Now, we have all heard about the end times and the end of the world. The cartoonish depictions in the book of Revelation aside, the main source of this idea comes from Matthew 28:20, where Jesus says, I will be with you even to the end of the world. However, in the King James Version, world is a mistranslation, among many mistranslations.
Right, and that's what, like, we were talking about V earlier, like, and I think you brought it up. I may have misinterpreted what you said, but just talking about how the King James Version of the Bible is obviously not the Word of God, no matter what Bible thumper tells you otherwise. It can't be the Word of God because it was written by men that wrote something from other men, who wrote something from other men, who wrote something from other men, and then maybe eventually God told one man or Moses or whoever the fuck, if that ever even happened. So it's just a game of telephone.
God never held a pencil.
Huh? Yeah. Go ahead.
God never held a pencil.
Why would God hold a pencil? He held a chisel and chiseled into stone. Absolutely. You're right.
None of those words were made by God.
But apparently, I will be with you even to the end of the world was a mistranslation that the King James Hellfire and Brimstone version wants you to believe. Let's see what one of the original translations were for the word world instead of world.
The actual word being used is eon, which means age. I will be with you even to the end of the age.
Whoops.
Which is true, as Jesus' solar Piscean personification will end when the sun enters the age of Aquarius. The entire concept of end times and the end of the world is a misinterpreted astrological allegory. Let's tell that to the approximately 100 million people in America who believe the end of the world is coming. Furthermore, the character of Jesus being
Shit,
a
I believe
literary
the
and
end of the world is
astrological
coming, but not
hybrid
because of the
is most
Bible.
explicitly a plagiarization of the Egyptian sun god Horus.
Well, not the end
For
of the world,
example,
just
inscribed about
another restart,
3,500
yet
years
another
ago
fucking
on the
restart.
walls at the Temple of Luxor in Egypt are images
The end of the
of
world
the
as we know it.
Annunciation,
Yep.
the miracle conception, the birth, and the adoration of Horus. The images begin with Thoth announcing to the Virgin Isis that she will conceive Horus, then Neph, the Holy Ghost, impregnating the Virgin, and then the virgin birth and the adoration. This is exactly the story of Jesus' miracle conception. In fact, the literary similarities between the Egyptian religion and the Christian religion are staggering.
Whoops. Don't show the people. I need a PDF of that.
And the plagiarism is continuous. The story of Noah and Noah's Ark
listen
is
to
taken
this, yeah.
directly from tradition. The concept of the Great Flood is ubiquitous throughout the ancient world, with over 200 cited claims in different periods and times. However, one need look no further for a pre-Christian source than the Epic of Gilgamesh,
The
written in
Epic of
2600
Gilgamesh
BC.
is... I want to
This
read that on
story
stream. I
talks
mean,
of-
I don't... That'd probably be too long, but that's some wild shit. And it's got so much truth in it. Again, set within allegory and metaphor.
The Great Flood, commanded by
And
God,
Picard tells
an
that
ark
story
with saved animals
to
upon it, and
his
even the
alien
release and
friend
return
in
of a
the Darmok
dove.
and Jalad
All held in
Oh,
common
yeah, he
with
does,
the
yeah,
biblical story, among
Gilgamesh
many
and,
other similarities.
What was Gilgamesh's friend's name?
Enkidu.
And then there is the plagiarized story of Moses. Upon Moses' birth, it is said that he was placed in a reed basket and set adrift in a river in order to avoid infanticide. He was later rescued by a daughter of royalty and raised by her as a prince. This baby in a basket story was lifted directly from the myth of Sargon of Akkad.
Sargon of Akkad.
2250 BC. Sargon was born, placed in a reed basket in order to avoid infanticide, and set adrift in a river. He was in turn rescued and raised by
Maybe that
Akib,
happened
a
a lot
royal
back then.
midwife. Furthermore, Moses is known as the lawgiver, the giver of the Ten Commandments, the Mosaic Law. However, the idea of a law being passed from God to a prophet up on a mountain is also a very old motif. Moses is just another lawgiver in a long line of lawgivers in mythological history. In India, Manu was the great lawgiver. In Crete, Minos ascended Mount Dicta, where Zeus gave him the
Yes,
sacred
Bo.
laws. While in Egypt, there was Meses.
I wish
who
they'd go
carried
more
stone
into the
tablets, and
Judaic
upon them
stuff,
the
but
laws of God were written.
That'll be for something else later. I got some big plans for
Manu,
that.
Minos, Meses, Moses.
Uh-oh.
And as far as the Ten Commandments, they are taken outright from spell
And
125.
notice how I use the word plagiarism. It's true. It's fucking historical and religious plagiarism over and over and over.
5 in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. What the Book of the Dead phrased, I have not stolen, became thou shalt not steal. I have not killed, became thou shalt not kill. I have not told
Roman
lies,
killed
became thou shalt not bear false
over
witness,
lies.
and so forth.
Yeah.
In fact, the Egyptian religion is likely the primary foundational basis for the Judeo-Christian theology.
That gave me cold chills because I didn't realize he had said that. So he does connect it briefly. He surmises that the Egyptian... Now, it's funny. They don't go into history, like lost history and bullshit history. I am under the assumption that the true Egyptians that build the 3 original pyramids in Giza were built by a civilization that was going on before the Ice Age that happened around 12,000 years ago.
Atlantis?
Atlantis was also around as well. Mu. There was a world civilization before the Ice Age hit, and the Ice Age fucked everything up. And then the Younger Dryas event happened where the comet hit, Greenland. Yeah, hit Greenland, not Iceland. And they have found evidence, 100% evidence of a giant meteor under the ice of Greenland that probably caused the Great Flood that happened back in the day too. So I'm under the assumption that the true Egyptians built the pyramids. Maybe there was Atlantis too. That'll be a whole episode. We can almost prove that Atlantis was real because we now know where.
What, they fled?
They fled
the
to
disasters?
caves. They fled underground, like in France.
They fled the flood.
And they fled the flood to caves. Hence, cavemen during an ice age. do things start to click now? I didn't want to talk about this because this is a whole thing, but let me reiterate. I believe there was a world exactly. Hold on, Nessie. Let me reiterate real quick. I believe there was a world civilization of humans, not aliens. I don't believe aliens built the pyramids and shit. That's stupid. We're the aliens. But anyway, another episode. But there were civilizations, high-end civilizations, back before the Great Ice Age and the comet that hit Greenland. And then those survivors went into caves. They tried to keep a hold of their technology and information as much as they could. Hence the wall drawings and shit. And then over time, they started to lose the intelligence they once had. They started to lose everything until the Ice Age finally receded, came out of the caves, started farming again. That's why as soon as they came out of the caves, they started farming. Now, most people try to think of cavemen like in Space Odyssey, where they're monkeys with bones for bats. No. The cavemen we're talking about are not like from millions of years ago. Yes, those probably existed, but I'm talking about the cavemen of the most recent Ice Age. They want us to believe that we were basically monkeys in caves 12,000 years ago.
How do you know they all came out and started farming? Surely some of them became nomadic.
No, absolutely. Hunters and gatherers. No, they probably started that way. But I believe some of them probably still had the knowledge passed down, which is why tradition is so important for human history, because it keeps happening where we have to restart civilization. I believe it's happened 7 different times, but that's a whole other topic. But I think in the very least, the original Egyptians built the pyramids, and the reason why Judeo-Christian theology came from Egyptians, because it didn't come from the original or the Egyptians we know of. It came from the original Egyptians, the real origins. Hence, going back to what I said earlier as to why Washington, D.C. and a lot of other stuff has Egyptian symbology. And a lot of like corporations use Egyptian symbology. Religions do.
Because we all come from the same place.
We all come from Atlantis and the original Egypt and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, we're all descendants of greatness. We just don't know it. And that's what they don't want us to know.
The cradle of life over there.
Yeah. Or
In
it was.
Africa.
I mean, it was very verdant, apparently, you know? They talk about it.
Lush.
Very lush. Very vibrant. Very wet.
Baptism,
Eden.
afterlife.
Hold on, Nessie, what did you say over there? Eden. Interesting. Oh, Anne's getting it now. Basically, God told all his people the 10 rules, and people were like, nah, that's too much. Yeah. Okay. We're about to wrap up this section, but it all connects, folks. It's insane.
Final judgment, virgin birth, death and resurrection, crucifixion, the Ark of the Covenant, circumcision, saviors,
oh no,
Holy Communion, Great Flood, Easter, Christmas,
It's really not
Passover,
insane. It's
and many,
actually,
many more are all
quite logical.
It makes a lot. No, that's the insane part to me. Is it's completely under your nose, completely illogical, but we've been lied to for so long. I feel like in so many ways that we just don't normally have the capacity, willpower, or even curiosity to look past what we've been told. You know?
No, I don't. But maybe some people do.
Attributes of Egyptian ideas.
So are you saying you're
Christianity and
conveying the
Judaism.
obvious? Yes, I will.
Justin Martyr, one of the first Christian historians and defenders,
That's
wrote,
the title.
I did the.
when we
I
say
said the
that
thing.
he, Jesus Christ, our teacher, was produced without sexual union, was crucified and died and rose again and ascended into heaven, we propound nothing different from what you believe regarding those who you esteem sons of Jupiter. In a different
Jupiter's a big
writing,
thing.
Justin Martyr said, he was born of a virgin, except this in common with what you believe of Perseus. It's obvious that Justin and other early Christians knew how similar Christianity was to the pagan religions. However, Justin had a solution. As far as he was concerned, the devil did it. The devil had the foresight to come before Christ and create his characteristics in the pagan world.
So one of the saints, he was coming to the realization that his religion was very, 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 very similar to another, like paganism. But eventually, at the end of his studies, I guess he just like, the devil did it. Devil went back in time and falsified history to pretend. You know what I mean? Oh my god, dude.
To discredit.
To discredit, yeah.
The devil's trying to discredit
Kind
us.
of like what he did with the dinosaurs.
Fundamentalist Christianity.
That tricky little
Fascinating.
devil.
These people actually believe the world is 12,000 years old.
12,000 years, huh?
Swear to God. I actually asked one of these guys, okay, dinosaur fossils. He says,
Dinosaur
"Dinosaur
apostles.
fossils?
Stupid fucking
God
closed
put
caption.
those here to test our faith."
Look, I just said that. Whoops.
I think God put you here to test my faith, dude.
What if let me give you some insights. So the enemy always gives you half-truths, and then they mix it with a weird lie to sell it. Well, they sell it with the truth, but then they trick you with the lie. I believe dinosaurs existed right before the Ice Age. Not all of the dinosaurs that we find fossils with, but I think humans and dinosaurs did live together. But it wasn't like ooga booga and dinosaurs. Like, at least with the most recent happenings before the most recent Ice Age, it was like they existed. Some of them existed. Fuck it. Alligators still exist. Whatever. But I think the comet that caused the Great Flood, and I'm using comet loosely, it was a fucking asteroid, whatever it was, big rock. When it hit the world, created the Great Flood, which also caused the Ice Age, because it fucked up with the tilt of the planet in the electromagnetic field. That's the whole thing. I think it destroyed most of the dinosaurs that were left. Whatever dinosaurs that were left that couldn't survive in the waters, they died. So the Flintstones almost had it right. That was a half-truth. But if the Flintstones was about Atlantis with dinosaurs, shit, that would probably been more truth. Which way to the ark?
The Bible is nothing more than an astrotheological literary hybrid, just like nearly all religious myths before it. In fact, the aspect of transference of one character's attributes to a new character can be found within the book itself. In the Old Testament, there is the story of Joseph. Joseph was a prototype for Jesus. Joseph was born of a miracle birth. Jesus was born of a miracle birth. Joseph was of 12 brothers. Jesus had 12 disciples. Joseph was sold for 20 pieces of silver. Jesus was sold for 30 pieces of silver. Brother Judah suggests
right,
the sale
and talking.
of
All
Joseph.
right, now it's comparing the Old Testament to the New Testament, which that could be a whole fucking episode. I was going to show something tonight comparing Genesis between the Talmud and the Old Testament, and you all would not believe how verbatim similar it is. And I would even use a translator. Like, we would literally translate Hebrew to English and show you the English King James Genesis Old Testament version, and they're verbatim the same up to a certain point, and then there's little differences. But right now with this example they're giving on the video, they're comparing Old Testament, New Testament.
Disciple Judas
all the fucking same,
suggests
just over
the
and
sale
over
of
again.
Jesus. Joseph began his work at the age of 30. Jesus began his work at the age of 30. The parallels go on and on. Furthermore, is there any non-biblical historical evidence of any person living with the name Jesus, the son of Mary, who traveled about with 12 followers, healing people and the like? There are numerous historians who lived in and around the Mediterranean, either during or soon after the assumed life of Jesus. How many of these historians document this figure? Not one. However, to be fair, that doesn't mean defenders of the historical Jesus.
So what you
haven't
just said
claimed
there is that he listed like 15 people who have written text of their dealings in that area of Bethlehem or wherever the hell Jesus was at the time, and not a one ever had any dealings with anyone named Jesus or anyone of the like that had any of those attributes. So again,
contrary.
Let's just, like, whatever
Four
remains
historians are
from
typically referenced
Right.
to
all the way
justify
back then.
Jesus'
Yeah, yeah,
existence. Pliny the Younger, Suetonius, and Tacitus.
So right
are the
there, that
first
could be a
three.
coincidence, but-
Each one of their entries consists of only a few sentences at best, and only refer to Christus or the Christ, which in fact is not a name but a title. It
now he's
means
naming
the
like other
anointed
people
one.
that had written
The
works
fourth
that never
source
mentioned
is Josephus, and
Jesus.
this source has been proven to be a forgery for hundreds of years. Sadly, it is still cited as truth. You would think that a guy who rose from
Maybe
the dead,
somebody wrote about
ascended
him but
into
got his
heaven
name
for all
wrong.
eyes to see, and perform the wealth of miracles acclaimed.
Well,
of
they're
him.
saying they were talking about like the 3 different rulers and then like 15 different historians. None of them during that time wrote about anyone who had any of the attributes, no matter the name. And that's the point, I guess, of this video, is that he's just trying to say that there is no historical, other than the Bible, there are no historical records of this man and his dealings with healing or any of that.
Made it into the historical record.
Tells us absolutely
because
nothing.
Once the evidence
except
is
that
weighed,
we don't have any
there
more
are
information.
very high odds that the figure known as
If any
Jesus
other
did
information
not
exists.
even exist.
Yeah, that's
Like
what
he
I'm
just
saying.
said.
That's all we know.
Yeah, and the burning of historical documents during wars. Yeah, and documents hidden, like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Oh, yeah, Thomas Paine. That's my boy, by the way, Thomas Paine. The Christian religion is a parody on the worship of the sun, in which they put a man called Christ in the place of the sun and pay him adoration originally paid to the sun. Thomas Paine, you know, the man who created the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson didn't create the Constitution. It was Thomas Paine. He wrote it. Give it up. Can we get some clapping for Thomas Paine? He went through a lot of pain and agony. Yeah, the Library of Alexandria. That might be an allegory, too, for just the burnings.
A lot of pain and agony. His name is Tom Ash Paine.
Max Paine, Thomas Paine. Yeah.
Tom Ash
If you read the original, the original Constitution is pretty dope. I mean, granted, mostly had to do with white men, but it was only white men at the time that had any power. So, and obviously they redacted stuff. But the purpose behind the Constitution was crazy compared to other people back in the day. I mean, again, we were a country ruled by Britain wanting to go against the fucking royal seat and have our own country. That's like, who did that back in the day? If you didn't give in to Britain, you'd be fucking killed. It's crazy. Anyway.
We don't want to be unkind.
All right, it's wrapping it up. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up this video here. We'll segue out a little bit. It's already past 3 hours. We'll go a little bit longer.
And what we understand and know to be true. Christianity just is not based on truth. We find that Christianity was in fact
an alterator. Like I want to know, what's your perspective from what I just said about? Oh my God, they're crazy. They're going against the fucking crown. Like, you know, since you live where you live. What's your perspective on that? I would like to hear it if you want to talk about it.
Where does he live?
I think he lives in Alterator. I don't want to say it. He lives over the pond, eh? Or living over the pond? Is that where you live, Alterator? You live over the pond, eh? Hey, I'm not making fun of you. That's my best fuck authority. Well, there you go. Okay, I think we're all on the same page here. Where do you live exactly, Alterator? You don't have to tell me like the exact. You don't have to tell me your GPS location, but what country do you live in, sir? You've told me a few times.
What area name I recognize?
What continent do you live
on? Story.
Europe.
Developed politically.
Pretty sure he lives in Europe. It was the single greatest accumulation of human knowledge in history, likely established under, I can't say that name, Philadelphus in the 3rd century. England specifically. There you go.
England.
The reality is, Jesus was the solar deity of the Gnostic
Christian sect. Now, okay, going back to what Ann was saying originally about me generalizing Christians all being Jews. True. Well, this is the variable. This is the variable in the equation that breaks up the constants. True origin Christianity, the true original Christianity, not the King James, this or that, is Gnostic in nature. And I'm glad he said this because I didn't know what the fuck Gnostic was for a long time when I watched this back in the day. But I am more Gnostic now than anything if I had to put a word to it. But there was a strong Gnostic Christian sect, and a lot of historians believe that the Gnostics are the ones that created the original Christianity. That had nothing to do with Judaism. It was literally Gnosticism, but for the masses. And like every grassroots movement, as I say over and over again, it was taken over by some people, twisted and corrupted, and sold as in a different package. Sounds like the video game industry, sounds like the movie industry, sounds like everything. Nowadays, anyway. But, yeah, it's Gnostic in nature. It really is. All the allegory, all the symbolism, it's very Gnostic. But some of the Jews, one or two of the tribes try to tie it in because the Jews did not like the Gnostic sect. The Gnostics created fucking Freemasonry, the original. But that's a whole fucking video. Let's keep
going. And like all other pagan gods, he was a mythical figure. It was the political establishment that sought to historize
It
the
was
Jesus
the political
figure for
establishment that
social
sought to
control.
historize the Jesus figure for social control.
By
There you go.
325 AD
Thank you.
in Rome, Emperor Constantine convened the Council of Nicaea. It was during this meeting that the politically motivated Christian doctrines were established, and thus began a long history of Christian bloodshed and spiritual flood. And for the next 1,600 years, the Vatican maintained
The
a political
Vatican.
stranglehold.
Oh my
on
God.
all
Where's
of Europe.
Godzilla and Addy? The Vatican. That's like 10 episodes right there talking about the Vatican. Whoo, boy.
The seat of Lucifer
The
himself.
seat of. I mean, there you go. We don't have to have 10 episodes. Now you know. The Vatican is the seat of Lucifer himself, or the human personification of thus.
Leading to such joyous periods
Oh,
as
really,
the
Nessie?
Dark Ages.
Yeah, but the context,
along with
context
enlightening
of.
events such as the Crusades and the Inquisition.
Yeah, would a benevolent God? Some people that know about torture techniques throughout like history, would a benevolent God really command people to do those horrible, horrible things? No. And I'm not saying that God doesn't exist. I'm just saying would a benevolent Christian
A
God
benevolent God wouldn't
want you to do this shit to other people?
Period.
Would Jesus want you to do this shit to people? There you go. No. But the Romans
Jesus
and
never
others.
commanded anyone to do anything. He was laid
Right.
back and groovy. Y'all
He didn't
just be
command
nice.
anything.
Be
God
good to
did.
each other.
Yeah. Didn't Jack
Bill and
Chick
Ted,
say
be
that shit to me?
excellent.
The Vatican, man. The Vatican is a. For all intents and purposes, the Vatican is a country. It's not a religious institute. It is, but it's all the above. It's a religious institute. It's a country. It's a financial system. It's like a world within a world. And if I'm not
It's the source of all evil. Money, religion, power.
Well, let me say it's the root of all old evil. There's a new evil afoot that's taken over. But
Well,
yeah,
which is witches.
maybe. Yeah, very, like Nessie said, there's a very strange transition between the God from the New Old Testament to the new one. He was like all fire, brimstone, fuck you, kill your sons, and then he's all like, be nice to one another. Almost sounds familiar in a social sense. The root of all good turns out to be the root of all evil. Yeah. You always hide shit under people's nose. That's how you effectively hide
The
something.
root of all hope turns out to be the root of all evil.
Oh, shit. That's pretty deep. The root of all hope turns out to be the root of all evil. Tragic.
You want to come in here, you got to go deep.
You gotta go deep.
Christianity, along
All
with
the way to
other
the cervix.
theistic belief systems, is the
Balls
fraud
deep.
of the age. It serves to detach the species
My
from
balls
the
are
natural
exploding.
world, and likewise each other. It supports blind submission to authority. It reduces human
There you
What's
go.
deep
Religion can never reform mankind because religion is slavery. And slavery and prisons never reform anyone. It turns them into animals.
ability to the effect that God
Religion can't
controls
reform
everything,
mankind
and in
because
turn,
mankind
awful crimes
created
can be
it.
justified
Oh,
in the name.
That too. And here's another thing. Religion can never reform anyone because according to at least Christianity, people can't be redeemed until they die. And you can't, that's a cop-out. You just die and all of a sudden you're redeemed for every horrible thing you've done. As long as you take in Jesus into your heart. It's bullshit.
You can't you do that before you die and be forgiven?
No, that's what I'm saying. You can literally be dying and have a priest next to you and you say, yes, I believe in God. Jesus is in my heart.
Yeah, but you
Apparently
don't have
get
to
to go to heaven.
die to be forgiven.
Well, no, that's part of it. That's part two. You have to die. I mean, obviously you have to
No, you
die.
can-
But you
you
have
can
to
go
die to
to-
be judged.
Your priest and confess and be forgiven.
But priests
and
don't
keep
judge.
going.
Only God and the man at the pearly gates supposedly can judge. And that's part of the judgment is you have to die to be judged at the pearly gates.
Well, you have to die to be judged, but you don't have to die to be forgiven. You can be forgiven before you
Well,
get
that's
judged.
the thing about the judging, though. Not all people are forgiven. That's what the man at the pearly gates are for. He's like, I see you just died.
But anyone
and,
can be by simply asking for it.
Well, no, we're talking about in a religion sense, a Christian sense of true
Well, that's
the
the Christian idea. You ask for forgiveness, you confess, you
Not according to the
let
church.
Jesus into your heart, whatever.
That's Jesus, but that's not the church. We're talking about the church.
Well, then
We're talking
how
about the
are you
religion.
forgiven according to the church.
I just told you. You have to let Jesus
You
in your
have-
heart, and then you have to die to be judged by God.
Okay, so you have to do all that, and
then
let
you
him
have to be
in,
forgiven.
believe in
So there's
him,
3 steps.
and then wait 60 years, 50
Yeah.
years until you die.
Well, that's the slavery part.
But that's just to find out.
All right, Addie,
It
thank
didn't
you.
even-
Well, no, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. It's like interest. You'll make interest. You'll make
that's
money
how they
eventually,
get-
but then you could die, and then you never made any money really.
That's how they get an idiot that doesn't bother to think about.
Well, that's
shit.
Most people who are religious. Addie, yes, thank you for coming in. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. We are at the 3-hour mark. Too bad we can't choose to not die and to not be judged. Absolutely. Well, I want to say that's the new evil. There's a lot of people who want immortality out there, and they're going to get it. They got a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of knowledge. They're going to get a variation of immortality. It won't
No,
be
you
what they
shouldn't
think it
avoid
is.
judgment.
I like judging.
If I am to be judged, let me be judged
I
for
should be
what
a
I
judge.
really am.
They still believe that you are
That's the
full of
card.
sin no matter what. Yeah, that's the thing too, Annie, is that no matter what you do when you're alive, you are a sinner. You are born a sinner, you die a sinner, no matter what you do. So in life, you can't be forgiven, truly, because you're known as a sinner. That's what I'm saying. It's all fucking ruse. It's a fucking game.
Well,
It's
you have
really
to
a
be a sinner
scam.
to be forgiven. If you aren't a sinner, you
Well,
can't.
no, but that's
be
the thing.
forgiven.
But that's what
But
we were
if you're a
talking.
sinner, you can't be
I'm gonna
forgiven.
slap that cat. Here, slap her. No, but your question was about, like, why do I have to die to be forgiven? And the answer is because as long as you're alive, you're a sinner, and you cannot be forgiven until you die, which is why you have to die.
You cannot be forgiven for your sins until you can't commit anymore.
Not by God, no, but by a priest, yes. But a priest is just the hand of God, not God himself. And the whole thing is about submitting to God, not your priest. The priest is like a advice giver.
Isn't the idea that, like, if you confess to a priest before death, that
No,
like
no,
if
that's
you're
not a
dying
rule.
and you confess,
That's not a.
Okay.
It's weird. That's not. So you don't ever have to confess your sins to be forgiven in the afterlife, as long as you take in Jesus in your heart.
not for Christianity. That's a Catholic shit, a Catholic thing,
A fine.
which I actually think is a really good thing, confession.
Yeah.
But
No, that is therapeutic.
yes, talking to another person about the shit that bugs you.
Like talking to a priest is probably better than putting Jesus in your heart. I'd say.
It's like talking to a psychiatrist about your feelings. Yes, it's okay to feel that way. It's normal. You're good.
So Asbury,
See you next week.
you know, is it Center or Asbury? It might be the same college. Either way, I think they're both religious institutes here in Kentucky. I worked and talked with several people that were going there to become theological professors dealing with Christianity, Catholicism. I worked with one living with you, Annie. I worked with a guy at Applebee's, and we talked a lot. And he was one of the most open-minded Christians, self-proclaimed Christians I have ever fucking met. But when you become a priest, at least I'd say in the past 20, 30 years, you have to take classes in psychology. You have to take classes in anthropology. And they're actual, like, they're not Christian teachers teaching psychology. They're actually psychologists teaching, that became professors and teach psychology. So going back to what you said, you are talking, when you're talking to a priest, you're talking to a therapist.
Well, like, do they have to study like psychology 101, or like how much of a background in psychology do they actually
That's
require?
relative. That's relative to what kind of priest, where they're going to work, if they're going to even be a priest at all. That was more for preachers, like the ones that run churches, and also
like
the ones that
anybody
work
who
at like the
has
big
to
ones.
Work with a lot of anyone who works with a lot of other people should learn some fucking psychology.
Like fucking cops. I do like cops. Cops are mandatory for a civilization. Nessie, you're absolutely right. We'll move on. However, all cops should have training in psychology. Am I wrong? Like, you should not be able to be a cop unless you've had psychology courses or something like that. Or HR courses. I don't know.
I think to be in politics or to be a police officer, you shouldn't be able to do that if that's what you want to do. It should be like jury duty. Like, you have to go and serve, but you can't make, people that want to be in charge of controlling other people should never be allowed to be.
I 110% agree with you. If you're even saying this, I might misconstrue it. Nessie, we're moving on in just a second, then we'll finish out the segment of religion tonight. But I think all police officers, like firefighters, should be volunteered civilians. Because constitutionally speaking, that's what it was supposed to be. We're not supposed to have federal cops. We're not supposed to have UN fucking assholes. We're not supposed to have these state honky-tonk motherfuckers. We're supposed to have local people taking care of local problems.
And they should be, cycled through.
Yeah. Like politicians. Politicians.
You can't be a cop
all politicians. Like Pelosi should not still be in politics. Biden should not still be in politics. Politicians, all politicians should have an expiration date within a decade. Decade at the very fucking most.
The job politician should not exist.
Right. You should not get paid.
Politicians.
You shouldn't get paid.
There should be people.
Because the lobbyists
doing
and
what
shit.
They need.
Well, it ain't even about the politicians anymore. It's the fucking lobbyists. Lobbyists are the new politicians. Because they got the money. Going back to money being a privilege.
It doesn't matter. The politicians are still part of the system.
You're right, Nessie.
They're just the figurehead.
Absolutely. Like presidents. All right. Moving on, folks. We got, 5 more minutes or less than that of this. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Hope you've been having a good time. Hope you all learned something. Hope I pissed you off, because if I pissed you off, I at least made an impact.
I haven't learned a goddamn
pursuit.
thing.
Shit.
And most importantly, it empowers
You pissed me off
those
plenty,
who know
so
the truth,
it's all good.
but use the myth to manipulate and control societies. The
I just
religious
feel-
myth is the most powerful
Manipulate
device
and
ever
control
created,
societies.
and
I think we can
serves
all
as the
slightly agree
psychological
with that.
soil upon which other myths can flourish.
Oh, it's about to segue. Hold on. I don't want to segue into 9/11.
Myth
We are not going into
is an
9/11
idea
tonight.
that
All right, it's closing out. It's the
widely
epilogue of this part.
God.
Nope, no 9/11 tonight. Sorry, folks.
in a deeper
That's
sense,
murky enough.
in the religious sense,
You all do not want to hear about
a
9/11.
myth
If you knew the
serves
truth
as an
about 9/11,
orienting and mobilizing story for a people.
probably wouldn't do anything. But
The focus is
it's
not
dirty.
on the
It's
story's
messy.
relation to
It's very messy.
reality, but on its function.
Got
The
it.
story cannot function unless it is believed.
Hold on, it's
to
closing
be
out the
true
religion part
in
right
the
here.
community or the
It's
nation.
segueing also, but it's also closing out.
It is not a matter of debate. If some people have the bad taste to raise the question of the truth of the sacred story, the keepers of the faith do not enter into debate with them. They ignore them or denounce them as
Because
blasphemers.
the word of God
It
says
is
so.
wrong, blasphemous, and sinful for you to suggest, imply, or help other people come to the conclusion that the U.S. government killed 3,000 of its own citizens.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson was definitely on the payroll, but he, over the past few years, I'm very surprised as his opinion on stuff. Yeah, and there you go. There's part 1 of the documentary that set me adrift, and I'm still adrift. It raises a lot of questions. I think it gives a lot of perspective on at least one perspective.
Aren't you drift out up there in space?
No, I should know where I'm going. I would hope. So then the question. Okay, here. Go
You
ahead.
can get there by drifting.
Yeah, eventually. Who knows where I'll end up. So then the question is, what is the solution with the knowledge we have just learned related to the understanding that all religions, or most of them, which honestly, it did list some Asian religions, Indian religions like Krishna. It did mention that some Asian religions, at least some of the figureheads and saints and whatnot, they do share some of the same similarities as Jesus Christ and Horus. So, all right. Let's see what else. That most religions are regarding the sun and that all things that has come with that. Well, yeah, let's close this out a little bit with some retorts, or not retorts. I don't know. Yes, V, what you got? I thought we don't talk about solutions. Wait, what? But no, that's the whole point of CTO is find solutions. We find the answers to questions, and then we find solutions or ways to deal with the answers. We don't just think of the answers, because just think of the answers forever is pointless. It just drives you crazy. Hold on. But wouldn't it just be moving forward with the consideration of what? Yeah, that was right. No, that was one point I was going to bring up. So the first thing I was going to bring up is what I guess Nessie and V are both saying. Burn all religious books. That's my solution. Yeah, maybe. No, that's never book burning. Never a good thing. You need all perspectives. You even need the wrong ones. ethically, in those ways. You need the wrong ones to understand the right ones. You need darkness to understand the day, that sort of thing. But yeah, at least when it comes to the sun allegory, I think, at least for me personally, I would say we should take out at least one thing we can take away from this is that people throughout history, through thousands of years, if not tens of thousands of years, really adorn the sun. And I guess, it's as simple as that, but it's like maybe that should teach us to do the same. It's like, okay, the sun's great. And if you all watch George Carlin, at the end of one of his stand-ups, he did say George Carlin was a Gnostic, by the way. He said, I have one God. Maybe it's the sun. And he talks about that, and I'm like, holy shit. But I think giving adoration to the sun is in itself an allegory for taking care of the world, taking care of yourself, taking care of life, taking care of one another. It could be as simple as that. And I think going back to what V said, like a consideration of what religion represents, I think religion at its core at one point did represent the caring of one another, the caring of ideas, the caring of giving tribute to something greater than yourself. Not to constantly be narcissistic about yourself. It's not all about you and your family and your problems and all this. There's bigger things than you to consider. And that might also give perspective or clarity on your position in life or in the world or in the universe. And I think that's what all religions do. Every single one, no matter what it is that it's all about sowing in the idea in your mind that there's something bigger than you, right? A God, whatever the fuck.
That idea is already sowed into our minds subconsciously from existing.
I think it is true, though. I think whether it's a bigger galaxy, entity we couldn't possibly fathom in some dimension we don't know about, whatever the fuck it is.
The life stream.
I think the planet Earth is an actual living organism. I think planets have the capacity to become a living organism. Not all of them are, obviously.
Forests.
Or maybe they are.
There are forests that are interconnected through fungal and microbial.
Yeah, Fungi's crazy.
Webs. Yeah.
Arson. Well, that's one perspective. Thank you, Alterator. I like him.
Another pyro.
The ethics and morality for humans in the world we inhabit. Absolutely, yeah. But let me piggyback off of what I just said. Let me piggyback off something I said. With adoration, adoration and respect are kind of similar. And there's only
talking about with the sun.
Right. Yeah. If you're gonna give adoration for something, usually there's a state of there's a feeling of fear, maybe, to underlie that, because you're giving adoration, at least in this respect, to something greater than yourselves, because you both respect it and both fear it, and maybe love it, all three.
Well, the sun doesn't just give us light; it gives us heat and everything else that's necessary for life to exist on this planet. So it's not just the light giver, it's the life giver.
But okay, let's go further, and this is what I was getting to, is that it's not just a life giver, it's a death giver. And that's something we're going to talk about on a future episode, that the planet Earth has been devastated by the sun over and over and over.
It can take that away.
Yeah.
That's life and death are the different sides of the same coin.
Right, but that was my point on it. I think on the pressure of adoration of the sun for most of these religions and belief systems is that it like you just said, it can give you life and it can take it away. So you might as well pray to it while you can.
It's the most powerful thing we can see.
It's the most powerful thing in our solar system.
That we can observe.
That we can observe. Yeah. Like you can't even debate that. You can't debate. Well, maybe humans have made. Well, what about the fucking Hadron Collider that can create black holes? Jesus Christ, kill me now.